Guys, gals and non-binary pals, the closed qualifiers are almost at an end. But don't fret, don't be sad, everything will be fine. As we start your Sunday mornings with Asia Maritime. That's right, folks. Welcome back to the Intel World Open. It's Sunday. It's the final day of the closed qualifiers phase, and we're here with the 3 final regions, but 4 teams to find for our regional finals. Myself, James T. Irely Kirk, joined by the ever-lovable Corey Digital Dyer Bacon. And today, Corey, we have arguably, possibly with the exception of Africa, the region that people know the least about, that we know the least about. It's Asia Maritime, or should we call it Indonesia perhaps?
Yeah, basically all 4 teams coming on through to these closed qualifiers are Indonesian, and heck, even then when we're looking to the top 16 in the open qualifiers, as far as we can track back a
chock-a-block, isn't it?
It's all Indonesia, and it's always an interesting thing to look at because, of course, when you look into the Asian Maritime region, you're generally looking to mobile gaming. But here, we're in Rocket League, you know, Street Fighter and that, where you've got to use PCs, you've got consoles. Like, I remember when Rocket League went free on launch on the PS4, and how many people picked it up. It's like 10 million downloads. It was a crazy number. And Indonesia's always been in the fold in Asia, but really the only maritime region to get involved, and sort of explains why it's only Indonesia we see here and now.
I imagine that a lot of us are well versed now in how this particular phase works, but a little bit of revision doesn't hurt anyone. Let's check out how the closed qualifiers happen.
The Intel World Open is fully underway, and the winning teams from the open qualifiers in each region have been locked in. Let's take a look at what's in store for the next phase: the closed qualifiers and the regional finals. Taking place from June 21st to 27th, the winning teams from the open qualifiers advance to one of 21 regional closed qualifier tournaments to compete in a double elimination best-of-5 bracket. Each bracket consists of the 4 teams, with the finalists from each closed qualifier advancing to the final stage of the Intel World Open. The regional finals are going down on July 11th to 14th and are broken up into 4 regions, where the 8 best teams from each country or territory will compete once more in a best-of-5 double elimination bracket for the chance to become the first ever Intel World Open champions. For further information, brackets, and more, head over to intelworldopen.gg.
So yes, the Asia Maritime / Oceania regional final. That's the one that we're looking at in particular today. Of course, we've already got 2 of our finalists. We've got Australia's Space One. We've got New Zealand's ultimate, epic, awesome, all the superlatives New Zealand team. Today we find 2 final teams to join them. We've already covered that they're both going to be Indonesian. And the thing is that we've kind of got a favourite, don't we, Corey? We've kind of got a favourite in mind as to who's going to be securing one of those spots, but there is actually quite the conversation to be had about who's going to claim the second.
So, of course, the Indonesian team in Broccoli have always been known throughout Asia as being quite a strong squad. I mean, when we look to the APL Nationals, the top team come out of that, but when we look to the kickoff, which is the entirety of Asia, a 5th, 6th place finish, which is not bad at all when you're, you know, taking into account when we saw Japan, when we saw mainland Asia as well, a very, very strong squad. But behind them a little bit, Best Defenders Asia is a somewhat known team, like with the better names, but now when we're looking at Warteg Baraka and Kittens, well, Arlik, I mean, we saw them in the APL Nationals and, you know, get a little bit of records there, but before that, I've got no clue. So basically, for us here on the desk, and I'm sure our commentators later on, this is like fresh new ground to be tread.
And speaking of fresh new ground, taking a look at this bracket format, you'll notice it's pretty similar to our usual format, just minus the grand final. So if you get into that upper bracket, it is effectively your first opportunity, to manage to get a qualification spot. You do have one more life. Even if you lose that upper bracket final, you head down into the lower bracket final, another spot available for the winner of that match. Our first match of the day is going to be that Broccoli Warteg Baraka match, face-off I should say, but the face-off, which really has some meat to it, is that Kittens Best Defenders Asia. It's going to be our second match on stream, and a really interesting situation in the closed qualifiers, the open qualifiers I should say, Mr. Baker. So basically, these two actually ran into each other in Open Qualifier 1, and it was pretty convincing from Best Defenders Asia, as they were able to 2-0 sweep the Kittens. They were sent to the lower bracket. Not the end of the world, of course. They put together a good run, and by the time they reached that lower bracket final, there again they found Best Defenders Asia. They had been sent down there by Broccoli, who is certainly, from our perspective, the first place seeded team. And here's the thing, the Kittens beat them 2-1. And so yes, what you're saying is absolutely right. In terms of the second most well-known team, that would be Best Defenders Asia. We've got the Optimistic Noob and Squirrel, part of the 1NE roster. We've got Rafduang, who's a little less known. But Kittens really here looking to upset the apple cart in some way or another, even if they can just nick a few bobs.
That's it. And of course, when we're looking at Broccoli, I'm pretty much just going to say it right now. They're going on freaks. They don't. Massive upset. But that second spot is well up for grabs. And I can remember a couple of weeks back seeing a Reddit post coming on through basically saying, we're sorry that Indonesia is going to get 2 spots. Like, we don't mean this. It's just maritime, again, with the countries, when you're looking at Philippines, Fiji, and all that, these small island nations around the Asian Pacific, and their infrastructure is more into mobile gaming and such, you know? So coming to Rocket League is always a little bit of an oddity, but it just shows these guys have got a passion for Rocket League because they've had to hunt it out themselves and find their own ways into the scene. So these guys are going to be coming in with so much fierce just devotion to Rocket League that they're going to really show it on pitch. And that's why, like, for me, Kittens, I can't wait to see on the pitch because I just want to know what they're all about.
It's fair to, I mean, listen, we have the information for Best Defenders Asia. There's really not much out there for Kittens. But I've got to say, for Indonesia, they are a people that love their sports. They love their motorsport. They've got a fantastic racing circuit there. They love their esports as well. So exciting to see this nation represented so strongly. And who knows, if there is a future Intel World Open, we certainly hope there will be future Intel World Opens. For my money, I would actually say, hey,
give Indonesia a spot.
Give your all here. Show yourself as a region that deserves your own spot, and maybe you will be able to get it. But of course, that is our second series of the day. We've got to focus in on our first series of the day, and we're going to tackle, first of all, the underdogs here in Warteg Burka. We've got D Lager, we've got Inoxe, who, funnily enough, is a commentator in the Indonesia scene as well, so good on you, doing much better than us two, that's for sure. And we also have Derpez, who is the current 1NE sub, a 1NE team, of course, that also consists of the optimistic Noob and Squirrel from Best Defenders Asia. It is fair to say that although between Kittens and Best Defenders Asia it's looking close, Warteg Baraka definitely with the most ground to try and catch up. That said, again, we need to re-emphasize, we really don't know too much. And here in the Intel World Open, where hearts, minds, passion really comes to the forefront. I mean, goodness, if you watched the French close qualifier yesterday, oh my goodness, if you didn't, go watch the VOD after today. Ricardo Kaka almost completely overturning the predicted bracket by taking down Team Beamers.
They haven't seen it yet.
It's great though. You need to know. It's honestly so good. So here's the thing, right? It is possible, yes. We don't know, and so there's obviously a little bit more mystery to it, but we've got our open qualifier results to work off here. And they were the last team to qualify.
And Broccoli's near enough sweeps throughout the open play. So the open qualifiers as well, which are full of sweeps. You're playing best of 3, so quite often you do see TOs, but yeah, it was a very divided bracket, should we say, indeed. So coming into this one, I know it's going to a best of 5, but I would not be surprised if Broccoli just 3-0 sweep, get on through to that qualification match pretty quickly.
And let's now do that in-depth analysis on this team. Starting off with a player that has disturbed you, I guess. The name that you might be familiar with is Revoir. Very classy, very lovely. He changed his name to Rapupi. Why not? It is a why not scenario, isn't it? But certainly for my money, one of the best, if not the best in the region. He's teamed with Gon plenty of times as well. Actually, and we keep on coming back to this player, Misty from Malaysia also teamed with Gon and, of course, Revoir at the time on the old 1NE roster. Obviously, Misty can't take part in this. It's Indonesia. Malaysia's already played. Misty's already through into the regional finals of mainland Asia, so he will not be facing these guys. But in comes Fisio from Integrity. Definitely, for my money, should be going through with 3-1s, 3-0s. That is certainly what their record suggests.
Yeah. You're picking up Fisio. I'm looking at Gon Freaks here, or just by Gon these days, because he, for me, has always been such a spectacular player on the Asian scene. Because when we're looking at Asian Maritime as well, they generally play alongside the Asian regions. They don't really play into OCE. Yeah. Those Asian Maritime regions always take part when you've got these little weekly tournaments in Asia where the OCE players are trying to hop onto, so our Maritime sort of becomes a nice in-between. But of course, when you're looking at it here, we're always going to compare Asian Maritime to the rest of Asia, not OCE. So it's like, here now, Indonesia are coming up against New Zealand and Australia, and this is, in a way, a lot of unfamiliar territory. Of course, they know the players and might play it across them many a times. Take Zuko, of course, from Australia, who has played in a lot of Asian tournaments because it's a bit of fun for him, a little bit of extra cash, and he likes playing alongside, say, Realize and such.
Yeah.
But, of course, for the rest of these lads, they're going against these people that probably idolize. I can remember yesterday with Stumpy saying, like, about Realize going to DreamHack Montreal and being fanboying to all the rest of the players around the scene. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see that from Indonesia when they go up against these lads from the rest of OCE.
I mean, goodness, you've got the RLCSX Oceanic champions waiting for you on the other side. You've also got Kami, of course. The best, certainly by evidence of ratings-wise, player in New Zealand waiting for you on the other side. And actually, I mean, Baker and I were having a great conversation on our trip to the studio today where, yes, you're not facing against Japan, but Japan's actually a really good indicator. So, of course, they won the APL kickoff. Asia, they were the winners in their Tokyo Ixa form, not so much Tokyo Verdy. We both believe that Tokyo Verdy now is better than that team previously, probably looking at maybe top 6, top 8 in OCE if we were just to drop that roster into the RLCSX Oceanic region. And this team came 5th, 6th in that same tournament. So if we compare that then to the likes of the Australian teams of Space One, of course, champions, to the ultimate epic awesome New Zealand team, which has a number of great New Zealand players, we're looking at Broccoli, and we think that this is the region's best hope. I think if they get a game, if they get a couple of games in that regional final, of course, presuming that they do make it through in the first place, that is still a no. We're very heavily expecting this. But we think that they should at least be competitive, right? Maybe not going all the way, but competitive at the very least.
Because when, of course, we look to the rest of the tournaments going on in Asia, let's just say the Ever Cup and all of that sort of lot as well, Brock quite often come 5th, 6th again.
Yep.
And that's when you're including Hanagumi, now Bumpy Pumpy, and all of that sort of lot, when you've got the rest of like Misty and Co coming in from Malaysia, and LCT on Free Rats, alongside Bullers and Makshu. This is pretty much a team that's just behind the rest of them, but it gives us a good, clear sign of where we are at when we're comparing Asia Maritime to the rest of Asia, in that they're in the fold a little bit behind, but not that far.
Yeah.
Still able to do damage, but I mean, then we get to the teams that are below Broccoli, and they're sort of question marks right now. But it's good to know that we've got players coming on through, because like we said, 2 of these teams we've not seen before, so of course they're completely fresh and new to the scene.
It's the story of the day then. Will Broccoli be dominant or will the veg tables be turned? Craftman Tylacto, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for breaking it all down the desk. And yes, thank you for joining us here for me and Tylacto's final shift here for the Intel World Open closed qualifiers this week. It's been a phenomenal week, Tylacto. Me and you, we've been having a look at some of the more regions who don't get a lot of eyes on them, and how appropriate that we finish with Indonesia. Probably the biggest question mark of the week, at least on our side of things. As the guys mentioned, these guys playing into the region where you've got Australia and New Zealand, the big bad boys of the region there waiting for you. What chance do any of these 4 teams have when it comes to that regional final?
Oh, it's tough. I mean, they've got a fighting chance, but it's really hard to really put your money in their corner, and understandably so. I think Bacon's highlighted correctly that there are so many sweeps in that qualifier bracket, and you have to question, is that just because of the difference in quality across Indonesia, or is it a mentality thing? And I think we'll find out more today, because even if you look at the APL Nationals as well, right, that entire bracket was entirely sweeps in the playoffs, and surely we don't get all sweeps today.
Surely not. I mean, we've had some crazy brackets this week in the Intel World Open. I think we've yet to see a bracket full of sweeps. It's very rare that you see that anyway, but yeah, based on past results, if any region's going to do it, it's going to be, well, officially rest of Asia Maritime and Oceania, but realistically, as the guy said, this is all in Indonesia. All Indonesia in teams in the top of the closed qualifier, excuse me, of the open qualifiers, and of course the 4 teams making it through here today, all from that same country.
Hang on a minute, you talk about Broccoli being the favourites. They were nearly beaten out there, as Broccoli, I say Broccoli, but Rapupi was beaten out to the challenge in the midfield, and I think, Cryfan, we're going to have to take a moment to look at this car of Rabuki. I mean, it's got a lawn trimmer engine as well, and I mean, we had
watermelon
wheels, but watermelon wheels and a slimy pickled boost. That's something else.
That's car of the week for me. I mean, you look at Derpes here, excuse me. That's a kind of, standard Bennett with sort of the neon going on, and then you just see Rabuki coming along with his watermelon wheels, trimming the grass. He's kicking it up. I think that's actually the grass boost. I don't think that's the slime boost. I think he is actually.
I think it's pickles. I think it's pickles.
Is it pickles? I'm gonna have to wait I'm going to have to see when it goes onto his car. He's got a chance here. 2 minutes into this game, it has been relatively even. We expect Broccoli to be the heavy favourite, but Gone is just going to put himself in front 1-0.
That ball is a long way gone. Literally, the defense trying their best to reach that, but the simple second touch, just getting it over the top, and took a little bit longer than you may have expected. We had a couple of our brackets, the likes of Australia and Japan, right, where there was one super expected team to be really dominant, and they did tend to open up and score 7 or 8 in game one, and maybe now that one's opened, the floodgates will likewise, and you know what, never mind, maybe here, because there it is. I mean, Vortex Baraka, I was going to praise them for how strong they've been in the opening couple minutes. This was a little bit messier, though.
Yeah, just a little bit. Everyone just sort of floating on the goal line, and maybe that is the floodgates finally opening up. I mean, we were watching some of the replays there from the highlights of the Open Qualifiers, and I was seeing score lines like 8-1, 7.
Yeah.
It's been seemingly, and look at God, he's just piling on the pressure. And speaking of massive score lines, obviously we've got the roster of Best Defenders Asia, who usually play or have played before under the moniker of 1NE. When Broccoli and 1NE faced off in the finals of the Indonesian National, it was a 4-0 sweep. Broccoli came in with a game advantage, so the series did start 1-0, but the games then went 5-1, 6-4, and 4-2 in their favour. So high-scoring stuff, and I'm expecting more high-scoring here as well.
I really did curse it by saying it was relatively close, and maybe there would have been 7 or 8 in game one as expected. Suddenly, Vortex. It was a lovely shot though from Gone, and it was just a bit unfortunate that Dealer.exe stopped responding in the net, and you really didn't quite know what to do with it. I don't think he had any boost, as likewise Rabuki doesn't have any boost. He managed to pick out a teammate though. In fact, the shot is going to open up. That's a very tiny finish.
Passing between all of the attackers. The Enox just flying straight towards them. Derpes, excuse me, just doesn't really know where to go. He just kind of stops on that front post and is caught flat-footed, and an easy enough shot for Broccoli to take a 4-0 lead.
It was pain as well. The guy at the back post sort of pre-jumping, the panic sort of setting in, and I mean, the watermelon wheels may not look the flashiest, but speed is certainly there on them.
You're right, it is pickle boost as well. Sorry, I did think it was grass from looking from far away, but it is actually pickles. So, yeah, it's very interesting. I don't think I've seen. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, he's got the. Well, it's watermelon.
That's fruit. That's so annoying.
He's got, eat your, 5 a day and all that.
He's only got 2 on his car.
Well, he's got 2 in his car. His team's called Broccoli. That's 3.
Okay.
That was a peach of a shot.
Yeah, it was. That's 4.
Broccoli looking to be the apple of the Indonesian eye. There you go.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch. Well, maybe they will be. Of course, that's right in saying that they are the one team that we are certainly expecting to get through to a spot in the regional finals today, given that we've got 2 on offer here for Indonesia, and that's kind of interesting for the changing format as well. There won't be a grand finals as such, but the winners final will certainly be stacked, and stacked will our next game be as well. Of course, talking about it, we're still in game 1 of this one, and Vortex Baraka, I have to highlight, they really did look solid in the first minute, but then I made the mistake of saying that usually the dominant team in a region comes out and scores 7 or 8 in the first game, and yeah.
Is this a theme developing? Do you think this is going to be maybe not necessarily just from Broccoli, but do you think this is going to be the story of the day when it comes to Broccoli and probably best defenders as well, that they're just going to run the score up on their opponents?
I mean, I don't expect best defenders to beat the Kittens convincingly as such. I mean, the Kittens obviously got the better of them in the lower bracket of Qualifier 1, but I do believe best defenders had to use a sub on that day. It's just they also traded series when they were in the APL Nationals for Indonesia as well. Of course, the rosters have had one change apiece. Since then, interestingly enough, the two people who have been changed in, we'll talk about it then, it's Ravduang and Rids. They were former teammates in the APL Nationals, so they're the former teammates will be facing off. And you know what I said, 7RA, I'm worried that we might, for the first time, I believe, this entire week, we could be looking at double digits.
I would not be surprised if it ends up 10-0. But hey, last night, I don't know if you managed to catch much of France, but me and Cole, we called the game over between Team B and Ricardo Kaka. It was 4-0 up with a minute and a half left, and then Ricardo Kaka put in one, and they scored 4 within 45 seconds to take it to overtime and then win.
They won the overtime as well.
Yeah, they won the overtime as well. That was in the upper finals, and they forced game 5, but they ended up losing game 5 and then dropped down to lower. They did rematch in the grand final, and it was an awesome grand final. I do implore you to go and watch that VOD back if you can. But right now, I know we talked about we talked about Rapupi a lot, but it's gone with the lion's share of the goals here.
He is. He's got his hat trick with that one, and I just want to really. I'm not going to credit the kickoff. I'm just going to keep. Yeah, I'm just going to keep talking. I mean, you have to say, maybe you highlight Broccoli and you're like, wow, you know, what's going on? Is it at the back right attempted loose kickoff there? It does not work if you don't make contact with the ball, but you have to credit Wartech for trying it, considering that could have opened them up a chance. And they did have a couple of chances earlier in this game, but I think it's kind of smart from Broccoli not. Whoa, there it is! They're not going to get one through there's a beautiful 50-50 to be fair. The kickoffs are leading to plenty of goals. You just can't blame Broccoli for not wanting to lift off the accelerator, because every goal they get just ruins the confidence of Wartech Baraka even more, especially when you consider that the first 2 minutes were really quite even.
Absolutely, but that one goal from Wartech Baraka is going to feel good. Maybe not going to be a 10-goal difference, only maybe a 9.
Maybe it will.
Maybe it will. Sorry, I'm sorry. We just keep cursing everything here. But hey, at least they're not going to get perfect swept. They've scored 1.
Yeah, there is a lot of ones, except there's 2 on one side of the scoreboard right now. It's a little bit unfortunate, but I mean, credit to Broccoli. I don't think this is all Wartech Baraka sort of collapsing under the nerves. I just think Broccoli are really just this good. I mean, sure, you know, Rapupi's car designs really aren't, as far as I'm concerned, but the gameplay is more than makes up for it. And I mean, with how they're playing, you could see something similar happening in game 2. I just hope that Wartech can sort of put themselves back together, because I really thought they were going to go 1-0 up early on.
Yeah, it did seem that it was going that way. Look at that, 10 shots from
Oh my goodness.
7 goals from the lad. A double hat trick and 1.
That's 18
5 assists from Fikio as well. We didn't say Fikio's name much because I think he only got 1 in that game. But 5 assists from the lad. This is an all-round team. This is a team who is built to win this region.
It really is. I do think it's Fikio. I think we're right. It might be Fisio, but
yeah, it's like Figaro. It's like Fikio.
Yeah, actually,
Fikio.
Maybe we get confirmation on that. It might be Fisio, but I'd be surprised. I mean, maybe not. But maybe Dealer can get a double touch. It's just not going to happen though. Immediate sent away here, as it's tense to see how this first minute will go and just how clinical Broccoli were going to be, because when you consider the fact that they scored 11 goals off 18 shots, you think about that percentage-wise, that's ridiculous. That's like 60%. Usually a team scoring like 20-25.
By the way, Digital Bacon has been listening, and he says, "How dare you, Tylacto? Revoir is the best in the Intel World Open." I'm inclined to agree with him. At least it's better than the pizza wheels car that we saw the other day.
I mean, there's definitely a fine line between the best and worst sometimes, and this definitely I think it strides along that line very closely.
Derpa's car there. The Derpa's is a really nice car, really nice design. He's put a lot of thought into that.
I gotta see it actually. This is Fashion League now. Not like it's still. Never mind. It's not 0-0 anymore. That's just tough. That clear can't stay in the penalty box, but going up at an angle, limited boost, it's popped up, and he's just caught a little bit too far forward. And I mean, credit gone. He was the fox in the box there. No hesitation.
This is what's 8th goal now for Gon.
Yes,
how many goals do you reckon Gon alone is going to have by the end of this series?
Well, we've had 12 goals in game 1, and 26 is the record for a best of 5. And if there's any series that might be topping it, I think it might be this.
It might be. We might break the record today. Who was it that got 27 goals? 26, 27 goals?
It was Space Zero in game 1 of their upper bracket game. In fact, I'll get it for you here.
So what you're saying is the Oceanic in Asia Maritime region, they just love scoring. They just love all of it.
It's the most topsy-turvy. It is upside down, as we know. And guess who's scored again? You put a blindfold and scored.
Is it Derpes?
No, it's gone. He's got another one. He's sunk it in. I mean, it was a very nice pass down the line. Credit to Vortec. They contested it early, and I'm much happy seeing them contested up near the mid-line as they do completely chat up another kickoff, but no clean-cut chances, and you can see they're sort of, it's like a kettle on the boil, all their confidence slowly steaming out, and I'm wondering how much more they can get, because if it continues like this, nobody enjoys being sort of shone up like this, especially on such a big stage. But credit to Broccoli, they are the real ones showing up.
They certainly are, and you didn't really expect a whole lot out of Vortec Barraco today. I mean, you were saying before that they're a team mainly consisting of the substitutes for all the other rosters.
Yeah, actually.
Region. Oh, Dila, oh, nice dunk. Oh, doesn't get on target. Here comes the Noxie. Yes, doesn't pull it back within one. We've been calling this over for a little bit. We think Broccoli are just going to end up running away with it, but that one just keeps it close.
It really does. It's an important one. You see that Kyo trying to make that save, but his last memory now is going to be the fact that he couldn't quite reach it as we get to half-time. And Vortec again putting up a fight, and with their defense tighter than last time, we do have a game here. It's 2-1 is the advantage for Broccoli, but for how long is gone, he's looking dangerous again, and dangerous he is, trying to get that demo as he did, but the clear across, no problem, a much better structure to the defense. I say that, the bump is absolutely unsolicited. The shot on the open net, gone. Probably the easiest shot he's had across the 2 games is the one that ended up not going in.
You got to give him credit though. It is a very difficult angle to shoot from. Yes, he's been scoring bangers left, right, and centre today. He should get that one on target at the very least. It does keep Vortec Barraco within one. I've been told it's also Inoxe. Is it Inoxe?
It's like there's an accent on the E, but there isn't.
Inoxe.
Oh, hang on. Double touch.
Open space. No, Gon does get to it in time. Does that one down. And Vortec Barraco, in my opinion, they're just lacking that little bit of pace.
I don't know, right now.
Oh, they could have scored. Oh, Fikio does take it away. But spare from Vortec Barraco. I said they are lacking pace. They are starting to step on the gas a little bit more.
Really are. In fact, it's great to see is they still have time to work with here, and Inoxe is going to sort of slap it against the wall. It's just going to be spread into the midfield though. That shot, beautiful punish on that small error, and Broccoli, they continue to be clinical.
Lovely passing play. We saw Exotic and Casio. Fantastic passing plays in the French region last night. Yeah, implore you to go watch that, because me and Cole were saying there's a free spot on top blokes right now. If Rams brings in Exotic to that roster, that alongside Archie and Casio, I think that's going to be a recipe for mayhem come the next season for RLCS. But right here in Indonesia, the rest of officially the rest of Asia Maritime and Oceania is Broccoli pulling out all the stops right now. Gon looking for his fourth of the game to put them up by 3. Ninoxe just able to step in front of it. Got to have a chance now to go downfield.
That was really difficult for Gon. He was trying to take an aerial shot when suddenly this big stream of pickles went straight across his camera. It was, oh my goodness, the patience from Gon. He has literally walked that one in.
He has, just like Arsenal. That's the problem. They always just try and walk it in. Gon is a student of Arsene Wenger, apparently.
He's very proud. He's very proud. I mean, I'm proud of Vortex, to be honest, this game. They've really stepped it up. And I mean, we know that 11-1 was unfair in the first game. It's just so on the nose that you can't really ignore it here in this game too. I mean, it's an improvement of 7 goals less. So clearly, next game, Vortex are going to win by 1 goal to -3, right?
Surely. Yeah, they're just going to score 3 own goals. And that's what negative goals are, sure.
Yeah, I mean, that is fair, actually. I can get behind that. I can get behind that. Broccoli, they're not behind by any means. In fact, they're 2-0 up here. They are 1 game away from going to the winners' finals. And of course, reminder, the winners' final is a qualification game to the regional finals. And that's a minimum of $6,500 US if you can make it to that point. And you could say maybe the chance for even more, 8.5, because if you can beat your fellow compatriots from Indonesia, then you're going to get minimum 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, well, one of these teams that we're going to see today will win a minimum of $8,500 US, which is going to go a long way in that region. I mean, I was just looking at the winnings for Rapupi there. His career winnings, according to Wikipedia, are approximately $1,472 so far. So this is going to be a huge payday for the lad if he's going to get through to the regional finals.
If you consider the split, then that is going to triple his winning. That's not bad at all. Hopefully that doesn't go straight to his head, though. You got to think about the focus and the concentration it is to perform under this pressure as such overwhelming favourites. We've seen overwhelming favourites struggle. The likes of Sandrock especially went all the way in order to have to do it, and it was similar. In fact, in Japan as well, Tokyo Verdy were run close, but ended up seeing it out no problem. And it does things. It makes you play completely differently as, man, Visio nearly putting that one in. In fact, I think Rapupi is going to. Yeah, just the rotation. They are swarming around it like bees to honey.
And by the way, the godfather of Asian Rocket League, Knish, has said to me, it's Visio.
It is Visio.
It's Visio.
Wow.
By the way, speaking of earnings, Visio himself only approximately $675 US.
Oh wow. That is going to change a lot.
It's going to change a lot. I mean, save. Oh, good save by Dila. And we said Vortex Barako is starting to show some signs of life. If they can keep this, at 1-0, maybe even if it stretches to 2-0, if they can just keep it close, they're giving themselves a chance here.
Biz has gone nice and dangerous hit towards the backboard, has gone, had a difficult touch to make, but he's followed up on it as well magnificently, and he's running it down the line here dangerously. He flicks it inside the dealer, patiently positioned. You see so often all 3 players back, and then suddenly there's none back. That shot ricochets off the crossbar, it's slowly drifting towards the net, but dealer back in time, 90 seconds in, has already got a saviour medal, has gone with the double touch pass. Oh, that was beautiful.
Lovely stuff. Lovely positioning there from Broccoli, just keeping this pressure up and forcing Vortex Barako into a couple of mistakes. 2 players diving at the ball, and then Oxy, just a passenger at that point, watches that one sail past them. And Broccoli, as we probably expected, on the precipice of going into that qualification match against either Best Defenders Asia or Kittens, who is our next match up on stream. Once this one is all said and done, I'm looking forward to that. I think that one will be a little bit more competitive than this one has been.
Been training series non-stop over the past few months. I'd be surprised if not, but the vast majority of them, like we highlighted at the start of the day, have been sweeps. So that's the most bizarre thing. I cannot see a single game 5 in all of their history, which is bizarre when you think how closely matched they are in terms of those series traded, as Visio nearly dropping that one in. You could see he sort of hovered in the air like he had a jetpack on him or something, and he just gently timed his flip but couldn't quite turn it on target, and we stay at 2.
Trepes was able to get a touch there. He may have kept it out of the hands of Broccoli, but it sails right into the hands of Visio. And Gone, he has just gone on a scoring streak. I know we talked a lot about Rapupi coming into this one, but Gone, he's been my standout player so far.
He has. He must be pushing the record for amount of goals scored by a single player in a best of 5, even though it's likely that we'll only get 3 games. Yeah, we really do. In fact, I hope D-Rex here, you will certainly confirm or deny for us. It's been absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he's gotten, what, 10 or 11?
I've lost count. I'm going to have to check the stats page once this series is done to see all the goals from him throughout the series. I mean, he had 7 in the first game. I think he might have had, well, it was only 4 in the last one. I think he had 3 in the last one at the minute. So he's at least on 10. Now he's on 11, 12 maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the series as a whole is at 20 right now. We still need another 6 to tie the series between Epic Horse and Ultimate New Zealand team. And I don't know if we're going to get it. Oh, the BM! Oh my goodness gracious me. This is just complete disrespect from Gone. And the poor defender who just respawned in time just couldn't get the pre-flip save. That's unlucky.
It's unlucky from Rapupi as well, doesn't manage to get the bump. It wasn't required anyway. Gone gets a second. That's at least 12 or 13 now for good old Gone. Good old Gone. That's what it's all his mates call him, man. Good old Gone.
I mean, it's tucked inside nicely, but the counter-attack is kind of not going to be on. I say that, it's sent immediately across to Rapupi, and he's going to drop it down so satisfyingly as a shot is saved well by Dealer, keeping it off target, but for how long will it be? It's good old Gone, back again, once again, with another goal.
Back once again with the Renegade Master. Power to the people and power to Gone. 5-0 in Broccoli. I mean, Game 2 was the most competitive that we've seen so far. 4-1, but it was 2-1 for the majority of that.
Yeah.
Broccoli, when they have got going. I mean, they're just styling, profiling, and Gone gets a 4th.
Look at Rapupi, look at this. Completely sniped.
You just see the green streak of pickles coming across the screen as well. You know when you see that, you're just like, oh no,
it's that whole new.
It's the Ralph Wiggum. It's the Ralph Wiggum. Yeah, I'm in danger.
It's the new sort of horror film as well. Just a stream of pickles. We get the Candy Man. We got the Pickle Man. It's actually ridiculous. It's gonna be still.
Poopy.
He just enters, kicks the door down with a massive pickle covered with 2 ears of watermelon. What's going on? Absolutely terrible.
Oh, pickle and watermelon. Oh, that's I just realised how awful a combination that would actually be. Oh, I don't want to think about that.
That's a forfeit. That's a forfeit right there.
Forfeit. No, just forfeit the tournament, mate. You're gone.
Oh man.
Well, I'm interested to see if what I'm interested to see though is well, 7-0. We'll see if this still happens. In fact, in the last 20 seconds. But I'm interested to see if Rapupi's got any other style choices for us later in the day.
Yeah.
With his, pickle boost, watermelon wheels, and whatever decal he's rocking as well. I imagine this guy is a style icon in Indonesia.
Probably got just a catwalk in his house, sort of thing. Just walks down in his Fennec, changes to Octane, changes the decals, does a little spin, inspects the situation. What would this look like? Oh, that's cool. Denying the Brazil.
The
inside of his goal as well. Like this is rough, but it's painful. You have to credit how great Broccoli were. But for Wartech, there were signs. It's just that defense was completely outclassed. But going into the lower bracket, considering that we consider Broccoli a caliber above in this bracket, I'm not writing off Wartech and their chances to make the final spot.
Not yet, and we'll see them a little bit later on. And after this break, we will see Kittens and Best Defenders Asia take the field. Who's going to be Lamps slotted to Broccoli? We'll find out in a moment.
Tap to pay with Visa. It's that fast. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
might be the inaugural Intel World Open, but it doesn't mean that records aren't there to be broken. The biggest game win so far in an 11-1 victory, and the biggest series win goal-wise, 22-2. James T. Irely Kirk, Corey Digital Bacon Dyer, we watched Broccoli absolutely dismantle Warteg Buruka.
And to be quite frank, coming into this one, it was sort of expected. No harshities to the players at all. When we're looking at Gonfreaks, Rapupi, and PCO, we're looking at high Grand Champs. Grand Champ 3 is sort of on the border of SSL.
Yes.
When we're looking on the opposite end with Warteg, we're sort of looking at mid-champs there. So it's a big, big divide. To those at home, that's like being in Diamond, going up against Plats. You're going a whole rank below, essentially. And this is just sort of like the result of it. And you'll notice this like when you're trying to play up against friends where maybe you're like mixing the ranks and there's different things you learn, different capabilities. And a lot of it for me when we were looking at that was just simply positioning coming out from Warteg, which was just not leaving them the space to move on in to make those saves. And it was just getting punished. And that's it. When you're looking at Broccoli, they could go deeper, but it's just the fact of they're sort of like being respectful of their opponents. And
I mean, you say that, did you not see that goal? I mean, we've seen a lot of great sportsmanship in the competition so far, but it looked like Broccoli did
they were
not get the
respectful in
memo.
game 2, 1 and 3. They didn't really get it down. They were no mercy.
Yeah, and no mercy really is the way to suggest it. I hope it doesn't lead to complacency too much, especially since they do have to win one more series to qualify for the regional finals. And even then, I mean, we're going up against juggernauts in New Zealand, Australia, very, very good players and teams. But you might have heard over the week lots of different things in terms of rotation and positions. You could say anchors, sweepers, strikers, facilitators, aggressive rotation, defensive rotation, complete rotation. Well, if you're new to Rocket League, or if you're just looking to improve your game in general, we've brought Coach Bacon with us to explain simply what rotation is all about.
Yeah, so let's just start off with a simple point, and this is like one of the issue areas which was coming on out from Warteg. So let's just say you're on the ball over here, your two teammates, you've got one towards the center and then one slightly back looking to just follow up. Let's just put someone challenging on the ball, someone back post just rotating on in, then you've got the other blue lad coming in. Let's just focus on the red side for now. Your idea with this ball is that you want to somehow get it on pass and then put it off towards the center, ideally for the second man to come on in. This is what we mean when we've got first man, second man, and third man in the mix. Quite simply, 1, 2, and 3. They're just the positions. The first number is your instigator, the catalyst, the one that's going to set up play and pass it on in quite often as well. This can just simply be the one going on the solo play. But the majority of the time, this is the one trying to get it to the second man. The third man in the play is always your defensive maker, because right now he has got basically 3 options. 1, you can chase up, follow behind, say that's a 50-50 and the ball is just going to linger in this area. He can then pick it on up. Let's just get back to the red line. Second, he can follow up behind the second man. The second man is a little bit too late. I don't know, goes in for the demo on this guy in net. So he can then rotate on out, get the boost, and then get back into position, go defensive, whatever. But for the third man, the best thing as well, if things go right during the attack, it all goes wrong, he can just dip out and get back to net. The third man is always so pivotal in every single role because he is not only your safety net, but the second chance of attack.
Yeah.
He's the one that's going to be covering everything. So whilst this looks like a whole bunch of lines right now, for me, this was the big issue for Warteg because that third man was quite often right next to the first or second. It wasn't giving you breathing room, it wasn't giving you time to the side, it wasn't giving you options. Basically, you're just playing with 2 attackers, and this is why I was saying positioning was quite wrong.
Yeah.
It's just purely because they only had one option. It was very easy to read, and that's why Broccoli broke them down so quickly.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning as well that third man role isn't necessarily just one player. It can be, don't get me wrong. I mean, we've seen plenty of anchor-specific players in the past. One that comes to mind is ClayX, for example.
Yep.
Used to be on Team BDS, and he would just sit there and feed out to the strikers on either side, that being Monkey Moon or Mark by 8 at the time. But you've also got players who are happy to do everything. I mean, you look at Archie, Turbo, Pulsar perhaps, if you want some of the better players, who are more than happy to just sit back, do their defensive duties, but also know that because of that complete rotational style that they employ, they can also move up because they know that that other person who's heading on the way out, they're going to be the third from there on out.
And that third man as well doesn't have to be the one going for a shot on net or being the defender. He can be a staller where you hold up that midfield line to allow your two teammates then to get boost and come back into the fold. But of course, enough with our coaching. We have a whole game action still to go.
Indeed.
So, as you can see, of course, Broccoli 3-0, but the match that I'm super excited for, find out who's going to be basically the second team going on through from Indonesia. Best Defenders Asia versus Kittens, Harley.
This is a fascinating one, isn't it? Because the results and the experience lie behind Best Defenders Asia. The optimistic Noob, Squirrel, known each other for a while. Actually, Squirrel, funnily enough, used to be the sub to what is now the Broccoli roster, of course, minus Fisio plus Misty. But again, it's kind of similar to Japan. These players do know each other. Ravduang, not so much, but they've obviously got faith in him as a third. That's important given that Noob and Squirrel work together a lot. What about Kittens, though? Very interesting story here, Tylactor and Craftman.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one to watch, and I've just been having a look at the Twitch chat, and I'm seeing a lot of people saying that Best Defenders Asia not all that good at defense, so maybe it's a little bit of optimism, maybe it's a little bit of gallows humor for them. But coming up against this Kittens roster here, Tylacto, I think compared to the first game that we had on stream, it might end up being a little bit closer.
Well, certainly, but we could be averaging our current average, which is 8 goals a game, Craftman. And if Best Defenders Asia really are the best defenders, then I'm not sure that we'll be able to keep that up. But like you say, the irony is there. I agree that I certainly saw any rotators mod check in the chat a lot, which could be a good question if we see some errors. But the amount of times these two teams have played each other, I am expecting a classic. I really am. Kittens got the better in the lower bracket of the qualifier, but Best Defenders Asia got the better in the upper bracket, and it's completely turned on its head when you look at the APL Nationals. And to expect that, they could easily be playing each other in the upper and lower bracket of this qualifier too.
Yeah, remember, no grand final for this region today as 2 teams will qualify. Maybe it's going to be one of these teams taking that, and we expect to be the second slot against Broccoli, who are just looking ridiculously impressive. But something else that was ridiculously impressive was Bacon's coaching lesson. He's been watching his tabletop tactics and ready on that teleprompter. Rids, he's been studying up on his rotations. That's lovely stuff, right into the heart of the net.
Ball just sort of found him perfectly. He was owning that midfield area and he's ran it too fast. And the Best Defenders have already lost their clean sheet. Of course, you see the defender there not getting back. Rids and Ravduang, who are new members on these 2 rosters in the past few months, they were previously teammates, Craftman. They played together on the Noir roster that got 3rd in the Indonesian Nationals run by APL, so they are now on opposite side of the pitch. I'm curious to see if there's any juicy personal grudges there. I don't know if that's the case, but who knows? You never know when a team splits or if it's on good or bad terms.
Well, that's the thing with a lot of the teams in this Asian region. We just missed that Kittens just completely scored a second goal. It was a nice one, but after the Best Defenders Asia, not a lot of defense going on for them. But that's the thing about a lot of the teams in Asia, even Asia mainland and Asia maritime as well. A lot of the rosters are quite malleable. They have been. They all know each other very well. They all play on different teams together. They just sort of swap and change as they see fit because simply because they're allowed to. You look at the RCS regions, Europe, North America, South America, and Oceania as well. Those rosters are locked. They change one member really per season essentially. So a lot of the time you do see rosters sticking together. And that wasn't necessarily the case way back in the early days of RLCS. They were just swapping and changing as much as they liked. And that's what's going on here in Asia as well.
it's sort of fun to see as well. You know, they're sort of both friends and enemies at the same time, and that changes so frequently. So it's always a fun dynamic. I am seeing the fun and the irony in the Best Defenders Asia's team name. They are going to get back within one. No fluke about that. This double touch just going uncontested across the face of the net.
Lovely touch there from Optimistic Noob, and I think that's our first sign-out of the week.
Actually, might be. What if it's
Raftuang on console of some variety?
I think if you look at his profile picture, you'll see that it's a blue sign at Craftman. I think he might have just been debated.
Have I just been debated? Oh.
I think he might have.
I've been had. I've been absolutely had. At least he didn't have his profile picture as AI. And I said, I'm on the team.
That would have been quite something. I mean, maybe he'll get the score again and we can double check and confirm that. As Optimistic Noob in his beautiful foam hat there, Jacob S. just trying to run that round the corner again. He created the first goal. He certainly could have created a second as he saved a third for the Kittens on the goal line. He was a bump coming his way and he still managed to get that block, but no block from Raftuang. His former teammate Riz is going to dunk that one past him.
Ridge just knows exactly where to put this one. Raftuang just a little bit too late on this challenge. Awkward angle to go up there, but Ridge just barreling it home. And Kittens 3-1 up. We said this would be a little bit more competitive. Technically, it is more competitive. Best Defenders Asia have had a couple of licks in. There's a big double commit. I know a lot of people in chat were expecting quite a few double commits throughout the course of this series, and they certainly have been rewarded with such, as Squirrel can't find the back of the net through the Kittens defense. Now looking for a fourth perhaps, is Kittens just moving this one forward. Here comes Rich flying from the midfield. Good block there to send it into the corner. Now down back into the middle. It just all seems a little bit muddled right now, really, from both teams. Best Defenders Asia sort of muddling through their defense and Kittens muddling through their offense as well.
It's a good word to describe it. Muddled. It's our word of the day right now, muddled. How we're going to describe this game so far, but it's certainly been entertaining. It's 3-1 and we've still got a minute to play. Best Defenders Asia are not out of this by any means. Rid is out of the play after missing that ball, and it's put towards the centre again, but the save!
No way.
Oh my goodness, the save from Bagas and that! Oh my goodness! And maybe at the other end of the field as well, Red is not going to be able to tuck it in the top corner. What an explosive few seconds that was.
That's a shame for Best Defenders Asia. 90% of the time that goal goes in. How many times have we actually seen that this week, Tyler, with the ball just on the goal line and ends up not going in? It's a ridiculous amount of time we've seen that happen in the close qualifiers of Intel World Open. 35 seconds to go. Best Defenders Asia don't want this to bounce in there on the Kittens goal line anymore. They want it right in the back of the net.
Spilling across to the side here, and Rez is going to try and win the race to it. He's not going to. He sort of tried to fake out Raftuang. He was like, yeah, so we need 2 goals. I'm just going to hit this ball, and fair enough, really. It's a beautiful, dangerous shot from Squirrel, but a good save again from Bagas Ananta, and maybe following up, maybe getting the pass, and oh my goodness, Willie Rez, he just slams it in at the near post.
Tight passing plays between Kittens, and that is really just the Best Defenders Asia off all series long, all game long, I should say. Feels like a series has been going on for a while, but it's only game number 1. 4-1 now for Kittens. Going to take game number 1, and they have been the better team overall. We've seen quite a few double commits, really, from both teams, but it's Best Defenders Asia who have not been listening to Coach Bacon throughout the break, breaking their rotations, and Kittens, they've just been playing their game. Cool as you like, and the Kittens get a game on the board.
It's a big game. It's a big game could decide it as well, because the 3 out of the last 4 times these two teams have played each other, it's been a sweep, Craftman. I mean, it's been traded back and forth so many times, but if that's anything to say, then Kittens totally got this in the bag. There's totally no way it's going to be close from here. I mean, I am expecting it to be close, very much so. They had some crazy defense at the end, certainly from Baggers as well. And really, I don't know what to expect out of this second game. Best Defenders Asia, I think I might have just seen a Merc join the field.
I saw people in chat thinking, oh, is Squirrel going to be in the Merc? Is this... I will admit, I'm not overly familiar with a lot of these players.
Optimistic Noob is in the...
Is he in the... Is Optimistic Noob? He's in it.
The slam fan. Unbelievable.
Did you call it the slam van?
Slam van, yeah.
I love it. So James Bot is somewhere absolutely loving life.
Slam van, a
Is this,
passion wagon. Oh, the shot over the bar from Rathline. That is a clear cut shot. That had to be on target.
Okay, now that Optimistic Noob is in America, this is the strategy for best defenders.
It is.
Just give it to Optimistic Noob because the most powerful car in the game of the Merc. That'll just break the defender. I mean, I've never seen anyone be demoed from the ball itself. But if Optimistic Noob just hurls that ball with the Merc, it might actually just have enough force to take out the defenders. The defender's nowhere in sight for that one. Rez gets it first.
Defenders, mug check. I mean, Optimistic Noob has poked that one up, hopefully, but unfortunately, Squirrel on vacation, and Kittens are going to punish, even though there was so much dangerous offense in that first minute from the best defenders, who I think could easily have gone one up, and instead they find themselves one down.
I'm just shocked that the Merc didn't score the first goal. Look at this beefy boy. Optimistic Noob, he is a big lad. Now he's got that Merc. He could just sit in front of the goal and he would not be able to
Oh my!
I can see it as he again just tries to barrel that off the bat. Again, I'm surprised he didn't have enough force to actually demo the players with the ball.
Spilling out dangerously again, but this time the best defenders will make some good defense, and it's going to be ran deep downfield to Baggers, whose Dominus has forced that one through, but he cannot force it through the mud. Absolutely not, as he sends it straight back into the mixer. Rez has whipped, but once again Baggers with the best defense I've seen all series and all day so far. He is going to lose that 50 though, and it's going to be 4 and 1 out by Rids, who seems to be just a little too quick in the midfield right now.
What I would like to see, if Best Defenders Asia do end up losing this game, I want to see Squirrel then go in America. And if they lose that one, well, actually... but by the end of this series, I want to see all of the Best Defenders Asia in America. I want all three Mercs on the field. Even just Kittens just switching in solidarity, that's what I want to see.
Switching to Merc in solidarity, that is... Okay, I mean, I can respect that. Maybe if we get a 5-game series, we'll get more Merc players, but we won't get much Merc defense. Optimistic Noob just whipping on that one, so maybe Kittens can continue to press, and in fact, I think they will through Rids, but a good 50 sends it way downfield, and Rez is going to have to recover it, but recover it he does, and pop out a backflip, unfortunately, meaning that Baggers is again required. He nearly found Rids, and you see that difference, right? That difference in that Kittens, they link up so much more in the midfield when Best Defenders Asia will use that word again. It's all been a bit of a muddle.
It's been quite muddled, and it's a little bit of a scramble here back on defense for Kittens. Only still 1-0. 2 minutes left in this game as Baggers towards the back board as he follows up his own shot, just hurled away by the defenders, and now Optimistic Noob just lays it down to Squirrel off the post again. Here comes Rapdoang, yes, that's the name. That's the name on top of his car. He gets it and ties it up.
And I can confirm, he is on the orange team and he's got a blue signet profile. You did get completely baited.
Completely baited. Well, you've absolutely had me, pal. Absolutely done me dirty. But doing the defense of Kittens dirty was indeed Rapdoang. I'm too used to Rapro, Scottish player. Used to see me. Oh no! I mean, when the shot comes in from the Merc, you might have to turn it in yourself, and that's exactly what's happened to the Kittens defender.
I mean, yeah, that's unfortunate for Rez. He was a little far off the goal line there, didn't angle it correctly, and you know, Kittens up until that point felt pretty damn solidly in control of the series. In fact, you could say they were trying to put the best defenders into the litter tray, and yet suddenly they've shot themselves in the foot instead, and Best Defenders Asia have got the lead here in game 2.
Let's see if they can hold on to it, because I think their best defense has been their good offense here. It has been a change of pace for them in this second game of the series. It has been more aggressive, you would say, and just holding Kittens back. I mean, when you're not able to let your opponents get a shot, you don't even need a defense, and maybe that is just their best defense right now.
We ran on down. Maybe a third of best defenders Asia are looking dangerous on the loose bounces. In fact, it's a big save from Rez this time. He manages to actually keep it out of his net instead of turning it in, and he's ran it in field as well. I think he's going to be able to pick up the loose ball. In fact, he leaves it for Rids, takes one for the team. Squirrel's required, but won't get the free. He is taking damage there on Baggers, and hang on a minute, it's ran up. Rez, you will make the save again. In fact, the save your medal. Down to the final 30 seconds. Kittens still need an equaliser by the end of regulation as they've dropped it down as best defenders, but no immediate shot coming through, and Rids again and winning out his challenge in the midfield. Squirrel's touch a little bit high and a little bit wayward as it's sent infield by Rez. The shot can't be angled. A beautiful team play, but unfortunately they've hit it away from the net that they're trying to get the ball into the back of, and it's again spilling in front of the net. The shot is there, and so is the equaliser.
The equaliser coming from Baggers Ananta, 82.
Ananta, yeah, it's
name
flowers, right?
Name changes are free, buddy. But he's not wanting to change anything about that play. 2-2, 4 seconds left. Kittens still in the driver's seat and could even make it 3 if Squirrel was not in the way of that one. He might just take this one down and send it to the ground, but Raptoang had a crack at it. That's what you love to see. Best defenders Asia, Kittens in a 2-2 overtime.
Best defenders really need to keep their defense solid, ironically enough, if they're gonna take this overtime. As Optimistic knew, had an optimistic shot, but it was just over the bar, and Ridge tries to run it down the right-hand side as well. Raptoang will get a good block, and so will his teammate Squirrel. Can he reach this ball? Surely not, he does, but it is wide off the mark, and the defense is there for the Kittens, as now they want some time in the corner there. Bagasananta will run it up and will tuck it inside. It's one out again by Rez, as best defenders are on the back foot. They're losing out the challenges. Will they be able to get it across? Yes, they will. Raptoang won't get the touch though. It's dangerous. It's open, and the finish is there from Rids, and the Kittens, they go 2-0 up.
Lovely stuff there from the Kittens, and just rotating this ball through and slamming it home into the back of the net. Down for most of it, but they rally back. Great show of strength and courage there from the Kittens, and they're 1 game away from getting through to that qualification match with Broccoli.
How do you say Bagasananta? How?
I think exactly like that. Bagas Ananta.
I feel like there's no way we're getting it right. We are from such a different, culturally pronouncing place, a complete other side of the world, effectively, the opposite time zone, that I feel so bad for the players who will watch this back and think that we are complete melons. You made us look like bigger melons by getting fooled by a Cynet profile picture as well.
Yeah, I am the fool. I'm the bad guy here. Duh.
I feel bad as well. We're both bad guys. I may be right in the fact that I predicted that we might have another sweep though, because for some reason these two such closely matched teams never seem to actually trade games. They just trade series.
It is surprising, being that Kittens were looking like the worst team in that last game. Best defenders Asia were all over them for a considerable amount of time. And just bringing it back within the last 4 seconds. It's great entertainment to watch. I imagine it's not all that comfortable to play, especially if you're on the best defenders Asia side, now having to pull off the reverse sweep to avoid that lower bracket run. So Vortec Barako waiting for you in that lower round 1 game. Remember, no grand finals, so one of these teams could potentially find themselves into the regional finals alongside what we assume is going to be Broccoli. One of these teams is going to find themselves alongside Broccoli. Nonetheless, looking like it might be Kittens, but Raptoang has other ideas. Best defenders Asia on top once again.
Best offenders, but they're not committing any offensive. Just simple, calm conversion of shots there. Rez not back in time, but understandably he thought his teammate was going to make contact with the ball. So instead, there was just this gaping hole in the defense of the Kittens, and they are going to let best defenders into the lead. Not the first lead they've had in the series. Of course, they were ahead and lost it late in game 2. But you have to say it would be a classic sort of reverse sweep, and I would love to see it. I'd love to see us go all the way to game 5. And that being said, it does require best defenders to hold on all the way to the final few seconds, which unfortunately they didn't previously.
You think they just need to defend now? Is that the play here? I mean, they have to defend against this shot coming from Rez, and Bagasanata was the one who took the shot, but it's set up wonderfully by Rez. Now the counter-attack down. I said, their best defense has been a great offense, and just keeping the pressure on this ball, keeping those 50-50 challenges going, giving Kittens a lot to think about.
On that demolition, oh my goodness, Raftuang has just been coconut mauled here in the net, terminated. What an equalizer from Rids.
He's completely moulding on that one as well, licking his wounds and recovering here into a 1-1 game. That's the best Kittens play I've seen so far today. Just the heads-up play, just taking the defender straight out of the equation. They have calculated that one to perfection. Now Red's wonderful win for himself on this right-hand side, but cannot find a teammate in time. But now Kittens turning up the offense yet again. This is where they have been thriving, where both teams have really been thriving. When they get into offense, here comes Squirrel, trying to get it under the crossbar of the Kittens net, not able to keep that one low enough, will ricochet out.
It's dangerous at both ends as well. End to end is this tense 1-1 in the decisive game 3 as Rid. He has to keep that one out, but it's come back out off the backboard, and no one from Best Defenders really comfortable in sort of picking that one up. I say that as Optimistic Dude in his Merc slam bam just sort of slams through the challenge. Rid has to do a good job, and he does, faking out one defender and running it down the line with the help of Rez, and it's down and it's still, and it's dangerous, and Bagazananta is going to slam it in to the top corner.
Halfway done this game, and it might just be done for Best Defenders Asia. Gotta feel that Kittens have got their groove going, they've got a roll going, and Best Defenders Asia are just losing these challenges, losing possession of the ball, and Kittens are just starting to slowly run away with it. I think if they are to score the next one, it might all be over. Although I've been wrong so many times when I've called the series over, or a game over, especially last night. Well, absolutely rinsed for that by accident. And it looks like I'm getting rinsed for it now. It's not all over. Squirrel ties it up.
Gotta believe, man. Gotta believe Raftuang. Look at that touch. So lovely on the curved bounce, and Squirrel, he's there making the Kittens look like bad defenders Asia instead, as that is being a label that is slapped left, right and centre over some of these games. And I think mainly it's just fantastic offense, but you have to say, you know, a lot of faith is being put in teammates, and that's understandable when you're used to doing that. You'd much rather trust your teammate than not, but under the pressure, whiffs are happening, and the sort of, it's being a massive spanner in the works, right? Because everything else is functioning as it would be expected. The preset half, that would have been spectacular, as we're at this tense 2-2, but the series is still 2-0, and it's ran in field by Squirrel, but he's not quite going to be able to find a connection with his teammate. He has made good connection on that clear, though, and I think Best Defenders Asia doing a much better job of meeting Kittens further down the field.
Again, but Best Defenders Asia just Squirrel looking like he was handing that off to Optimistic Noob. He has been shooting quite prolifically, and as you're gasping in awe of that one somehow not going in, I'm still in shock about that one as well. I really don't know how we're not sitting here too.
A ridiculous attempt with a double touch from Raftuang. In fact, double touch attempt will come through from Squirrel. It's a very juicy pass. You see three players yeeting themselves at it, but no clean connection. That's clean round the corner, but it can't be turned in. Squirrel couldn't get to it before it crossed the back post, and we head into the final minutes still at this deadlock. Best Defenders, they cannot afford for any more bad defense. They need this next goal, and they might find it, but Rid will make the save on the goal line, and it's sent down midfield as it's run immediately towards the net by Rez. That has to be blocked by Raftuang, as it truly is direct down mid. They are running it down mid quite literally, but Rid, he is out wide now. He's centered in field, but the block comes through again.
Like they're playing Dota or something, just attacking mid straight up the middle. I mean, we're attacking the mid, but the Optimistic Noob right down the middle himself and puts Best Defenders Asia in front.
Reporting for feeding there on the defense. Squirrel, you'd have lost your mind if he accidentally saved that, right? he had to have got the call that it was on target, and that is a huge goal for Best Defenders Asia, but they have to hold this lead. They conceded with just under 10 seconds left, I believe, in the previous game for Kittens to equalise. We need the best defense, not the bad defenders, is the sort of eternal duality and conflict they have right now, as surely the boost is too limited on the Kittens for them to carve anything this late in the game, as Best Defenders are still on the offense, and they're going to challenge it again early through Raftuang. It's trying to be ran down mid, and it's linked up nicely by the Kittens, but they're stretching just to reach this ball. They have popped it over, but the ball... nearly kept up in time for a shot to come through, but the best defenders in their last 4 meetings, 3 of them will have been sweeps, but this will not, and they get 1 game back.
And that is the best thing for best defenders. By the way, I've not been baited. That is actually
It is.
iNet.
It is.
I don't know why it's blue on the replay. I don't know if that's just something that it's been changed or not.
It's just his, I think it might just be his banner. Maybe his banner has sort of fooled us there. I mean, it's fooled me. I'm too self-conscious to not get tricked anymore.
You're the one who's been debated by that. That's
I mean, I debated myself.
Yeah.
So really,
well, I'm the smart one here. Okay.
Oh, okay. I mean, you've taken that very, very. I don't know how you've got to that conclusion, but yeah. I mean, sure. 2-1. Are we gonna have a game 5, Mr. Smart?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? I think so.
I don't.
The best defenders have started defending.
Have they though?
Well, I mean,
they have, to be fair, somewhat, yeah. But I think for me, it was Kittens just falling away in that game. I think they just got a little bit too full of themselves. And it's optimistic noob. Oh, looking to be full of himself, full of boots, full of scoring. Now the counter attack by Rez, or at least launched from Rez's corner by himself. That's something that Kittens have tried to explore throughout this series, was just let best defenders Asia push up, and then maybe you could get the big booming clear down net to find its way, or downfield to find its way into the net, I should say. That's been their strategy throughout this one, not being able to really beat best defenders Asia at their own game down here in the orange half so far.
Kittens did have a really good defensive structure, and it set them up to get downfield onto this offense, but they were all awkwardly in that corner there, and in fact that pressure is going to evaporate, but with absolutely no players challenging, best defenders are going to manage to double commit. It was painful to watch, not as painful as Optimistic Noob getting completely demoed there, but no punishes on either side for the awkwardness and the errors, but you have to understand the nerves right now that are coming out strong. There's no double touch there, thankfully. In Raftuang's case, he was able to make that challenge here. He's looking for a bump. It's getting very physical. The question is, will it end up mattering? We saw a beautiful coconut wall demo, and that was very effective. If the players have seen that, they certainly won't have forgotten it. You can imagine they'll be going for it more and more, as that's a last-ditch save from Ridge. If that ball dropped any lower, surely the best defenders would have been 1-0 up.
By the way, I just want to quickly update you. We asked you earlier on how many goals in a series was the most of all time. God had 15 goals in that last series. That is tied for third all time. Yeah, I know, it's ridiculous. The most all time came from Joshua X in the New Zealand Open qualifier. The Optimistic Noob, maybe not challenging this list just yet, but he does get one more for himself.
A huge goal. I told you, I believe in the reverse sweep. Best defenders Asia, finding Ridge a fault on the defense with the defensive read. And talk about Joshua getting more goals in the Open qualifier. Surely that wasn't a 5-game series, but if it was the Open qualifier, maybe it was.
Well, it would have been 2-1, perhaps, because it's best of threes.
That's outrageous.
I will double check this.
Yeah, it had to. It was best of threes. So yeah. What if you got it in 2 games?
That would have been ridiculous. I'm just going to check now.
It has to have been like the opponents must have DC'd or left or something. I mean, I'll carry on here because I'm very tensely watching best defenders here in game 4, looking to continue what would be a reverse sweep. The ball's out dangerously, yet no one actually going for it. Both were looking for the corner boost steal, and instead it's put central and nearly converted. Optimistic Noob on the end of Raftuang's pass. It's going to be deflected off that post. It was painfully close, and Kittens have really got away with that, and maybe they're going to get the equaliser as well. Bagasalanta has tucked that one in tidily.
Tidy stuff from the tidy offense now from Kittens, starting to find their feet yet again. Ties this thing up at 1 apiece. It was a 2-0 sweep, by the way, for New Zealand Ultimate Team against Pineapple Panda Gaming. They won 11-2 and 13-0. That was the 2 games.
That's quite something.
Yeah, Joshua had 19 of their 20. Hazza had the other 5.
Imagine not getting any of the goals.
Moss was the one to not score on.
The team scores 24 goals and you don't get any of them. I mean, we've just had 2 goals in this game.
And Moss only had 2 assists, by the way.
Wow, he must have just been AFK. He genuinely must have been AFK. That's understandable. I mean, maybe the defense is not going to be going AFK from Kittens. They have 2 back and they've dealt with that okay, but for how long? Optimistic New onto the backboard there. Who knows? If he wanted to backboard pass it, it won't have ended up paying off, but they have kept the pressure here as best defenders. A goal here could do it. They kept their lead last game and putting away the sort of demons of game 2, and having overcome that, they really are the ones with the momentum, and you have to say Kittens must be terrified to concede the next goal and to maybe lose the game and have to go into game 5 staring down the barrel of a reverse sweep, and they're staring down the barrel of a conversion here. Bagasananta with the double touch. I was worried he might miss it for a second, but that is a high presser shot.
As was I think that's the best goal I've seen Bagas score all throughout today so far. With 34 seconds left, it might be the most important one, at least for Kittens. Best defenders Asia, they have had new life bred into them for the last couple of games. And here, right now, new life bred into them again. Kickoff goal ties it up.
It's huge. Bagasananta, the 50 goes perfectly mid, and it's perfectly weighted for Afdoang, who just puts that one in. No problem, and the conspiracy and confusion is the fact that his Cynet picture was actually blue there. This is something that is really tilting me to watch. It's nothing to do with the game and what's happening, but it is tilting me.
Is it tilting you more than Rapupi Scar? That's the big question.
No, that's crazy. I mean, maybe shot for the save. Last-ditch save from Rez, who comes out of nowhere around the Jordan style to keep us at 2-2 here. Best defenders Asia still trying to make the series 2-2, but we could be headed for overtime, and I believe will be our second overtime of the day.
And it's going to end, it's our second overtime of the day, our second 2-2 overtime of the day. This, as per the last 2 games as well, this game will end 3-2, but which way will it end? Will Kittens be able to close it out almost? And the rest of Best Defenders Asia forced this game 5 after we thought this was going to be a sweep, as Kittens looked like the better team in game number 1. Best Defenders Asia, they have certainly shown up when it matters most.
And flipped inside there. It's going to be popped up at Rid, taking that one away. Been a bit of a warden of the defense he has. Him and Reza certainly, but Bagasananta could do with another clutch goal from him. A goal for the Kittens would win the series and send them to the winners final with 2 lives just to get that qualification spot. And again, you don't qualify today through the 2 spots, you get nothing. And that is huge when you could be up for the likes of $6,500, maybe even $8,500 minimum. That's absolutely crazy for these teams when you go home with nothing for 3rd place in this qualifier. And these moments, these overtimes are what defines and decides whether or not that is you or not. As that shot from the corner from Rez just grazing the post.
And you talk about the prize pool come the regionals. I think one thing that these guys will be excited about as well is the chance to show what they can do against Australia and against New Zealand, who ruled OCE with an iron fist for the last few years. Now into Asia to have a crack at the best in the region is something that I love to see. Competition just breeding success, breeding brilliance. Here from Kittens, and there's a lovely touch by Bagasananta, and he seals his team a place in the qualification game.
Completely turned the defense inside out, past Squirrel, past Rafdoang, and into the top corner. 2 huge goals from Bagasananta has made the difference for the Kittens here, as they do put Best Defenders Asia into the litter trade, despite Best Defenders having 14 shots. It wasn't enough. They go down 3-1 to the lower bracket. They will play Vortec Baraka, and they will be playing just to keep their lives in this tournament.
Yeah.
tap to pay with Visa. It's that fast. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Well, the best defenders might have indeed had a beautiful duang, but when it came to facing up against the Kittens, they faced catastrophe. I'm Ireleak, he's Digital Bacon, and Bacon, listen, you've got, I mean, listen.
I'd got the broom out and everything.
Yeah.
I was ready for that reverse sweep. Nish told me it's either sweeps or reverse.
He's a liar, that's what he is, he's a liar.
What do we do with this?
You put it. Listen. We got broom underneath the table. It's okay. Just put it down. It's okay.
Just hide that away. It's fine.
It's fine. Listen, it's okay.
We'll save it for later. It's got to be.
Let's look over there. Let's look over there because there's some really good highlights that we can actually have a little check out of. Because I mean, ultimately, like originally, first two games, I'm like, oh, hi Kittens. Turning up at the gates, ready, scurrying around, claws out. But Best Defenders Asia actually showing that some experience is worth it.
Yeah, definitely, like, whilst, yes, in those first two series, the Kittens were definitely looking like the fat cats on the block, but going into that third series, Best Defenders Asia finally started defending. Like,
yes,
their rotations were just abysmal. Like, guys, that's it. Detentions all around. I'll see you after school because you clearly did not do your homework this week. And that fourth series, whilst, again, was a lot better, Kittens were able to adjust, and they were sort of finally getting properly challenged. But, I mean, we've got to say, this Kittens roster was great fun to watch.
I think the entire series was great fun to watch. We were looking at that first game, and I remember I was talking to you, I was like, man, you know, they look pretty good. Maybe they'll give Broccoli a game. And then just, rotation just went out the window. They just scrunched it up and just, goodbye, you know, whatever. But let's talk about Bagas and Arta, shall we? Or, I mean, listen, I know Crafters were saying, hey, name changes are freeze. How about Bangers and Arta? Because, I mean, mechanically wise, definitely the standout for me.
Oh, yeah, definitely there. Just sort of always continuously not only putting in the ball in the back of the net, but setting up both Rids and Rez. And it was just a great playmaker as well as facilitator. I think that's the best way to do it. Facilitator for goals. Always involved and always looking for those opportunistic moments.
And ultimately, one of those opportunistic moments was the series winner. Bacon, to be fair, I don't know whether this is just preying on an opportunity that just arrived at his feet, or whether it was a determined play, a calculated play between a team, but either way, the result was wondrous.
It was indeed. So again, we're just slowing this on down. This is a beautiful camera angle coming in from Optimistic Noob.
Is this,
unfortunately for him, yeah.
Is that a layoff?
Yeah, who knows? Is that just a beautiful coincidence, a happy little accident? But I mean, the finish from Bagas and Arta is incredible. Let's just quickly take that back to the start and watch it over once again, because you can just see how quick and clean the reactions are right here. Optimistic Noob wanting to chase around, but this clearance out, again, don't clear to center. That's an insane accident coming on through, basically. So that's the way I see it. And then just a quick little sweep around. The defense not ready for it. Again, rotations all a little bit over the place. And, well, I mean, what a series-winning goal that is.
It might have been a happy little accident, but you know what? I feel as if Bagas was ready to channel his inner Bob Ross, painting a very happy little tree there in the back of the net, as they confirm their upper bracket final date with Broccoli. Now, I'm not sure whether Kittens are allergic to broccoli. I imagine, certainly from owning a cat myself, broccoli isn't the first item that I would think to give them. The question really is, Kittens, we did see a lot of mistakes in that series. We did see, obviously they still had some steel, they had some guile to be able to ride the wave, the resurgent Best Defenders Asia comeback trail, but are they going to be able to overtake Broccoli in terms of that pure talent side? Because it does, at least in retrospect, now feel like they were just in first gear freestyling against Warteg.
Yeah, so it's hard to compare the two matches, isn't it, really? Yeah. And Broccoli here is still going to be the favourites through and through. But I want to see how Kittens now give them a bit of a run for their money, because we expect Kittens to go into that lower bracket, and then it all comes down to how Best Defenders Asia sort of come back. Because unfortunately, Warteg we do think is sort of out, but they're coming in as the fourth team, and this is just great experience for them to be able to hone their craft in Rocket League and grow themselves again for next time for future tournaments. But here Kittens and Best Defenders Asia are both in with a shot for making serious money right now, and Rocket League is sort of the benchmark for Indonesia. That's the peak, that's what you want to be hitting. And I mean, we saw from both those squads moments where they could truly compete with Broccoli, but you know, they're gonna have to be cranking out 110% continuously, and that's a big ask.
It's very important that you have your 5 a day, but will we finally have a game 5 today? Craftman Tylacto, take us through.
I don't see this one going all the way here. I really can't. Bacon, I think you can hold on to that broom for just a little bit longer, because I think we're heading back to Sweep City, and Broccoli are going to be the mayors of Sweep City here. They have just looked so good. Kittens, yes, they had their moments there against Best Defenders Asia. They were overall the better team when it was all said and done. But running into a team like Broccoli, it's going to end in tears for the Kittens.
Sweep City is exactly right. They swept their way flawlessly through the entire Open Qualifier as well. They swept their way through the entire APL Indonesian Nationals, and why would today be any different? But it's under bigger pressure than they've ever played under before, and maybe that can work to the Kittens' advantage here, as once again we might be saying hello to that pickled boost.
Yes, we are. We are saying hello to that pickle boost. The horrible pickle and watermelon combination there from Rapupi. I know Bacon is a massive fan of his vehicle in particular. Who I am a massive fan of in this Broccoli side's Tylacto is gone. I mean, we mentioned he had 15 goals in that last series against Vortex Barraco. I think this one he might be stymied a little bit, but I can see him scoring maybe not 15, but certainly close to that in this one.
15 is quite the benchmark and quite the standard. I think I'd be satisfied with just 5 or so, to be honest. That would be no problem whatsoever. We will get a double commit on the defense, though, from the Kittens. And to be fair, Santa was back in time to cover as well. And the link-up playing nicely downfield from the Kittens. Did have Broccoli on the back foot, but that's quite the opposite right now. They're looking to run it around the orange side of the pitch, and they are going to be up, but lose the race to the ball again. Kittens staying solid and putting up more than their fair share of good fight right now.
I mean, that was the Kittens moniker in the last series. We saw them just having fairly solid rotations. There was a couple of double commits that came out every now and again. Could be fires towards net. Again, just solidly taking that one away. Gonro's coming over the top there. Kittens unfazed right now by the Broccoli offense, and I suppose at this stage of the competition you really need to be unfazed by what everyone is considering the best team in this qualifier today. Hands now for Kittens, but Ficio to send away.
You did see this though in game 1 against Vortex Barraco. They put up a great fight, but the ultimate floodgates came down with just one goal, and the timing is really impeccable. It was exactly 2 minutes in that game 1 as well. Broccoli are going to send it. There's one whiff on the defense, unfortunately, but you've got to credit Rapupi. Just had the conviction to be going no matter what.
Absolutely, just having full faith in his teammates to swing that pass in, and finds himself the first goal of this upper final. Remember, this is a qualification match, no grand final for Indonesia today, as 2 teams will qualify, one here and then one in the lower bracket final, which the loser of this series will find themselves in against either Vortex Barraco or Best Defenders Asia. It's going to be Kittens, and I think a lot of people are expecting that, although, like we're saying, they are putting up a good fight here, keeping it close, but there were no clear-cut chances for the Kittens.
And no collapse as well. That's the difference right now in caliber between them and Vortex Barraco right now. Vortex Barraco, following their first goal, were already 3 down at this point. Kittens are still very much putting up a fight here, and with the demos on the net here, they are looking to aggress. They are not even on the back foot. Broccoli are going to try and force that through Gon, but they're going to lose possession, and Rids doing a great job. Couldn't really pick out a teammate, but he sent it all the way across the field, nice and high, and bought as much time as possible.
Running out of time though here as time tick under 2 minutes, and Broccoli we're closing in a little bit. That's a wayward back pass there from Ficio. Might let Kittens in on this one, but Rapupi wins that ball, wins that challenge straight back, and he's straight back upfield. Rids has to make the block. That was looking dangerous from Broccoli, as Kittens were looking to take the front foot off the defensive mistake from Broccoli.
That was very, very close, you could say. It's a lovely drop down. It is going to have multiple players committed. Gone. The striker has always put a dangerous shot on net, but the save was there, and Rez, the unconventional again back pass, was actually really nice. I like that one, spreading the play across. Unfortunately, they need to get possession in the blue side of the field, though. They're defending well, and I give massive props to how much they have stepped it up here in the winners' final, but they need to step it up even further. 1 minute on the clock right now, and it's popped up teasingly there, and Ficio will go for it. He looked for the flick reset double touch. In fact, he wasn't able to find it. It wasn't almighty close either. It's just so disruptive from Broccoli. They're not really giving any more than a second or 2 on the ball to the Kittens, who can fight it down into the end here for the first time in a while, but again, no clean cut hit, maybe until now, as the shot tries to pick the top corner, does Rids, but it is just wide, and you feel like that might have had to have been the chance.
Well, they've got 30 seconds to create themselves another chance. There's been few and far between chances for Kittens. But like you said, just holding this backline so solidly, not letting Broccoli run away with the scoreline as of yet, gives them a chance late on in this one. 15 seconds left, now deep into the Broccoli territory, and Rapupi just holding his nerves air dribbling this all the way, draining this clock for all it is worth. Kittens could fire back. Reds will have a chance here. 40 boost in the tank. Has Rez in the middle. Toward there will go. God has to make the save, but here comes Baggis. Oh, off the post and right back out towards the midfield. God might just try to touch this one down. And he will. Yes, he will. Broccoli just scraping away with a victory there, but that was not as comfortable as I thought it would be.
No, it was a really good performance by the Kittens there. In fairness, they didn't run into each other in the open qualifiers at any point, so I cannot find a time where they have played Broccoli since picking up Rids. And of course, Broccoli were the favourites, and yes, they've outshot 6 shots to 3 in that game, and you see that winning goal just there on the replay. Broccoli remain favourites, and they are the ones with the pressure on their shoulders we have to bear in mind. But, like you say, not as quite as flooring, not as convincing as we might have hoped, and I really have faith and hold it for the Kittens.
Certainly so. I mean, I said it was going to be Sweep City. I'm starting to doubt that prediction a little bit now. Based on the fight that Kittens were able to put up against Broccoli here, although Rapupi wanting to get the key to Sweep City in this one, and Ficio gets it laid up to him by his teammates. The defense falling apart a little bit there.
For all the credit we gave the defense, that is not its finest moment there. A bit of a communication error and then a misread from Rez. I mean, credit to Ficio. He's just like, oh, that is open. Yeah, I will take that. No problem. Thanks, guys. 1-0 up again.
Yeah, exactly what you said. Just the miscommunication, and Baggis just turns on it. You got to really be stolidly communicating, saying, I've got this, and knowing where you are on the field as well. Really, it should have been Baggis' to go for, in my opinion. Letting the defender stay back in net, give him a chance to save. Now Baggis downfield. We've seen him put a couple of decent shots in towards net in that last series. Do it here again. It's Reds, no boost in the tank, can't get up high enough, and Broccoli will take it 2-0.
An absolute slam from Rapupi deep in his own half. That is a perfect shot that snuck in there. Top shelf, centre of the net, but Rids, you have to feel if he just had about 10 more boosts, he'd have made that save no problem. But unfortunately, you know, it took in the first series of the day, it took Wartech all of 2 minutes to fall apart. But I'm worried we might see something similar from the Kittens. This next minute from them is huge that they don't concede.
It's going to be massive that they don't concede, and in my opinion, they've got to score in the next couple of minutes. They've shut out, and they might just get it here, and they will. Baggis Anata opens up his scoring account.
Wins the 50 in the midfield, and then has a little quick look around. He's like, oh, it is open. Run. And he just tugs that in the bottom corner before Ficio can get back. Huge goal. That's the first goal of the series for the Kittens. They are back within 1.
No miscommunication, just bringing Gon up to double commit on that side. You've got to just let your man have a go at that, see if you can win the challenge and then back off, and because if he does lose the challenge, you're going to be the last man back. But Gon looking up to make up for his mistake there and bring that 2-goal lead back into fruition. Here comes Ficio to dunk this one down off the backboard. Gon will follow this one up. Rapupi was there to maybe make a bump on the keeper, but Rids is there, and now the shot from Gon finds the back of the net, and just like that, back in front by 2.
Just a tiny double touch, and Rids does a job to get it away from the net, but the pop out is dangerous, and Gon, his shooting boots are back on. The 2-goal lead is back in business for Broccoli. They're looking tasty and licking their lips at potential of being 1 game away from qualification to the regional finals, but they still stand 3.5 minutes away from that.
Still Kittens standing their way, but nothing standing in Gon's way there. Defenders or no defenders, that's just a beautiful shot.
That's a lovely pass from Rapupi, picking out Gon, and that, I mean, there's top shelf, and then there's that. That is like, I'm going to even reach the top shelf on my bookshelf if you put that shot up there. That is ridiculous. 4-1. Lovely play from Broccoli, the likes of which, and the caliber and class of which we haven't seen quite from anyone else today.
Certainly not today, as Gon gets a third. I was just thinking that the last goal before this one, it was eerily similar to Exotic and Casio, who were just an outstanding duo last night for Ricardo Kaká in the French region. Again, I've said it once, I'll say it again. Go back and watch really everything from that French Open qualifier, or excuse me, close qualifier for the Intel World Open. It was just absolutely phenomenal.
Well, I think
pleasure to be alongside Colton.
The play is that, given the fact that the next week will be Street Fighter, if you're not into Street Fighter, which of course you should be trying out here on this very stream, But well, you could just sort of rewatch the entire week's worth of Rocket League. Why not? That's an absolute marathon. That's dedication. In fact, I'll join you for it here. It's 5-1 in game 2. The Kittens, the defense has become questionable. The defense, I think it was Ritz who found himself in no man's land for the 5th, just caught between staying back and challenging, and then he was just driving in a circle round a roundabout when the shot ended up coming in. They have got breathing room for a nice demo from Baggers and Anta here. We are still just halfway through this game. It is very much still on, but the defense from Broccoli is holding on no problem right now.
And I said Kittens just needed to keep it close and they'll have a chance. Let the game run away from them. And they'll be steering 2-0 straight in the face in a couple of minutes' time, unless miraculous comeback can happen. I'm not counting it out just yet.
Shot.
We'll be looking to make this a little bit less of a reality for Kittens. Rids will be able to get the save out of that one. But you feel Broccoli, they're starting to find themselves and starting to get things rolling.
Yeah, Rafuki and Gon especially have sort of spread out on the offensive end, and it's allowing them to put up so much pressure. It's ironic, about a minute ago I saw them clatter into each other on this very wall, and just never, I didn't get to say anything about it, but it was very, very funny to see. And the chemistry seems to have been working a little bit better since then, although it was just a bit of a freak moment as the time still ticks down, still 4-goal differential. Broccoli through Visio. You see him just controlling this midfield area there. By facing that play as it comes his way, he's always going to be first to that ball. And with Boost in the tank, he may have not made much happen, but it's so good at stifling anything the Kittens want to do.
Oh, and that'll be, not quite as stifling there as Visio gets the save, but it's straight into the path of Rez.
Yeah.
And these are the kinds of plays the Kittens really need to start aggressing on and start going for these follow-up shots, because for me it's been a lot of maybe infield pass and go for the shot then rotate out. If they can have that third man just to back them up and go for that follow-up shot, it'll give Broccoli a couple of things to worry about on their back line. Maybe not necessarily in this game, as we've got a minute left, 3 goals to 9, maybe 4, but Rez able to touch that one away.
You highlight that follow-up shot well, as Rez has just made a good save at the other end of the field. He gave no respect on the offensive end in order to get that shot. Of course, it's easy to when you've got nothing to lose and 5-1 down, but that's exactly what Kittens need to do more. Maybe not. Maybe they give too much respect to this Broccoli side, and if they do that, then you're just going to prove yourself right. If you expect the best and let the best happen out of your opponents, then you can't be surprised when they deliver. But you can knock the sort of confidence out of them by just expecting a mistake and playing off of it, and suddenly the opponents have to realise that you were expecting them to make that mistake. They did, and just confirm the fact that they're like, yeah, you're bad, and that's effectively the way that it's come to happen here. But unfortunately, the ones looking bad are Kittens. They're looking like they're going to be 2-0 down in the series here, as that shot's dangerous, but the save made no problem. 5-2, and it's hard to say that it wasn't just such an uphill battle after the first couple of minutes.
Absolutely, Tylacto, and fully agree on that one. It's just been an uphill struggle, like you say, for Kittens, and I mean, the first game, I don't know if it was maybe just a bit of a false dawn, or maybe even this one was a bit of a false dawn, and the next one will be a little bit closer. But Kittens, they have had their moments. They have defended relatively well. They've been holding their own for the most part. But Broccoli, they're just a shelf above the rest. They are a top tier team here in Indonesia, and if they are to go through and qualify through this upper bracket, which we expect them to in this third game, they are fully deserving of that moniker.
Yeah, it was just that first disastrous couple minutes for the Kittens. You look at the shot count at the end of the game, it was only 9-7 in favour of Broccoli. You just have to look at the quality of defending and the quality of shots that end up coming through. Like, I have seen a shot.
Oh, how's that not in?
Just clip that 5 seconds out of context. See the only players in the orange half all blue, and the fact they've not scored that, Broccoli, and that they're going to score it. These first 23 seconds, they have confused me.
Well, they can't score with no defenders in net, but they can score when all 3 of them are in the orange penalty box.
Yes,
that makes complete sense. I am fully on board with that. That just it's complete sense. Write it in the rule book. That is
so confusing.
Why?
I still can't get the first bit out of my head. There wasn't a single Kittens player in their own half, and they missed the open net, and then they score that. Like,
This is a confusing region here, Dilacto. It's a confusing team to watch. They are confusing. Kittens here, backboard pass out to VCO. And you start to feel that something's brewing and that we might have a high score on the side of Broccoli here.
A nice double touch, lovely finish to sort of swallow it up sort of thing. You talked about the uphill, you talked about the uphill battle in the break. I feel like maybe they were going uphill on their sort of electric bike, but then the bike battery sort of run out at the end of game one and suddenly they're now having to deal with the weight of it. And it's really, really proving tough. But again, they still have time, but again, they've shot themselves in the foot early on.
It seems sometimes, using the electric bike metaphor, they're just forgetting to pedal. They just think that the electricity will, the electricity will help them up the hill. But clip that, put that in the book of quotes. But Broccoli there, looking nothing short of electric here, is gone again, tries to find Rapupi in the middle of the field. This has been a link-up play we've seen all throughout today. Really between all three of these members as they just block another shot from Vagus and Nata. Bullying Kittens on this, on their own back line. It is, they're just not letting anything through. And gone. This time the open net does fall his way.
It's nice to be able to spill midfield by Rid. I say that, it really is a spill. He was trying to flick it, and unfortunately there was no flick and all drop. And even though two defenders there were racing back to the net, that's the problem that you never want to sort of happen and realise within a Rocket League game. And it is worse that it was two defenders and not just the one, but the attacker on Broccoli running onto the ball, and all the people who are meant to be challenging him are facing away and, quite frankly, running away. And it just means that any touch you have to make on that ball is going to be so much more difficult, so much more awkward. And when the two of you are right next to running in parallel back, you might as well have only had one in that situation. As you can see, the fear is there in the Kittens side. They're scrambling around their net and no one is going to be able to keep it out. Gon gets his hat-trick, far from his first of the day, and it is all falling apart right now.
Yeah, the Kittens are really just starting to run away with their tails between their legs. Got that one there, just that ball was bouncing in front of the orange net for maybe a second or two, and no Kittens defender had the thought to just try and punt it downfield and prevent the inevitable 4-0. BC will try and make it 5, and I said this one might be high scoring on the side of Broccoli. We're only halfway through this one. We've got 4 on the board already. Possible 5 if BCO can be able to turn that in. How do you reckon? I reckon this might be 7 possibly.
Well, Rapupi hits the crossbar from 6 yards out. I'm not so sure. Which may have just happened, but I have no sympathy. He still is using a pickle boost and watermelon wheels. He has slammed it downfield, no problem. More character to... Yeah, I mean, he's managed to put that shot on target from the direct opposite end of the field. Pico on target, it's gone again with his 1000th goal of the day here. The clear was okay from Rids, but this shot on the turn from Don to put that on target, that was pretty ludicrous.
He's been the standout player for me on Broccoli throughout today. He has been the difference maker for Broccoli in their qualification run, and does look like he will be qualifying. Represent at least half of Indonesia in the regional finals for Asia Maritime and Oceania. Rapupi will get another.
I mean, look at this. Look at this dunk. What? He's lobbed himself at it, and he's turned it like...
He jumped it as well.
It's the filthiest dunk I've seen all week. Like, that's for 6-0. Like, the Kittens are going to have to go down to the lower bracket and play after that, and when they close their eyes, that is probably what they're going to see as Broccoli. They're almost certainly going to be taking the first spot for Indonesia, and I mean, rightly so. What a performance they've put in. They are looking solid and clean, and if anyone has a chance of upsetting the Australian-New Zealand team, you have to say it's certainly them.
Yeah, just looking forward to that regional finals where you got the Australian-New Zealand teams sitting there, who are fantastic teams in their own right and world class as well. Looking at this Broccoli side, do you reckon there's any chance that this Broccoli side could take a few games and maybe win a series or 2 against Australia-New Zealand?
We're seeing them play with all the pressure on their shoulders right now. That'll be turned on their head when we get to the regional finals. I think they'll thrive. they've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Sure, they'll probably be on slightly higher ping, but I will celebrate every single game that they get, and I hope it's more than just the 1 or 2.
I know it does look like that. And of course, one of these Indonesian teams that we see today, we'll see 2 of them qualify. One of them will be guaranteed a minimum, well, they're both guaranteed a minimum of $6,500. Could go up, well, one of them will get a minimum of $8,500. Could be as high as 17.5 if they're to go and win the damn thing miraculously. And I think it would be miraculous if one of these teams.
That would be something.
It would be something. It would be an upset for the books. I mean, we see a lot of upsets. Yeah, if Space One lose out to Broccoli.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like, Space One are one of the best teams in the world. Like, the performance they've put up in Oceania right now is absolutely unreal. But they could be taken down by a nice tasting piece of Broccoli, who have had an absolutely faultless day. They had a faultless qualifier. They've been faultless for months. Sweeps 2 back-to-back to qualify. They are our first team here that will represent Indonesia at the regional finals, and rightly so. That game 13 shots to 2. What a statement.
Big statement from Broccoli. They go through to the regional finals. The Kittens go running away with their tails between their legs into the kitty litter box. Broccoli have eaten their greens, and we'll be back after the break for the lower bracket.
To pay with Visa. It's that fast. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
match. A 3-0 sweep for Broccoli sees them into the regional finals for Oceania and Asia Maritime here at the Intel World Open. Myself, Ira League, him Digital Bacon. Forget the rest of the series, Bacon. We just saw one of the whiffs, one of the misses of the entire tournament.
Don't worry, I'll be able to break that down and explain it later. But yeah, looking at this, I mean, Broccoli cementing themselves as the best team in Indonesia, I think, already, not only being the first to qualify on through, but then seeing basically the toughest competition to come up to them just get Rio swept in maybe not game 2, but games 1 and 3. A very convincing fashion, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Kittens, it was very much as if the occasion just overawed them. Very strong start in game number 1, keeping it incredibly close. But as soon as that second game came around, the goals started to flood in, and game 3 was just a washout.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, at the same time, Kittens had some fairly good goals. Like that game 1, 5-2, but the 2 goals Kittens did get were actually pretty nice. And
yeah,
they're showing their caliber and why I think now we can say they're probably going to be the second team to come on through today, and I quite like that because this is a team, again, new names to us, but I can see potential in these players, and they really excite me for like 6 months, a year from now, where they could be.
I think the one way I disagree with you, though, is that they have just come off a 3-0 sweep, which is always damaging, especially if they were confident, fancying their chances. But who are they going to face in that lower bracket? We'll find out in a little bit. Bacon, we have to break it down. We have to break this down because it is quite sensational that this didn't turn into a goal.
Yeah, so again, we've got the clip from it, and I've already done a little bit of scrubbing over this. Yeah. Already, gone away, had a little look at the clip and how this wasn't a goal. I mean, straight up, look at that. That's an incredible whip. But I bring it back. This angle right here, if you just look very closely, right here in the net, you'll be able to see a little cool call in there. Emil himself kept it on out, a 4th player on the pitch. I mean, is that disqualification worthy?
For Cole, yes.
Yes.
He's never casting again.
Yeah, okay, right. And we're happy to make this call.
It's all done. I mean, the scenes. Kittens are good. I mean, the Kittens are robbed.
That's it. That should have been.
Well, not the Kittens, sorry.
It should have been.
The Kittens weren't robbed. It should have been a goal. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Should have been a 6 game there. And I mean, when your back's here against the wall and it's coming in close to a 3-0 sweep, I mean, sometimes you pull out your trap cards, you pull the pocket ace out, and I expected better of Cole.
Me too. I mean, listen, if you want to direct your anger at Emil Cole 93 on Twitter, he deserves it. As this next match deserves our attention, rightfully so, Mr. Bacon. Warteg Baraka versus Best Defenders Asia. Of course, Warteg Baraka with the unfortunate record in the Intel World Open of having the biggest game score differential, which was, of course, against them. And in terms of overall series score differential, a reminder, 22 goals to 2. Now, given those 2 goals were perhaps actually better than we were expecting, but the defense was what we were a little bit disappointed by.
That's it. And now they're going up against Best Defenders Asia, which I would argue are the worst defending team straight up, considering the caliber. They should be able to redeem themselves, and they've got the nerves out of the way. That's it. Yeah. Now there is no weight upon their shoulders. This is the moment to play for fun. So I think they're going to really step on up. Probably not win it because, again, we're looking at the level of these players and the experience that they've got, but they're going to be able to have fun, come onto the stage and really just show what they're all about. And this is going to be a great little watch for us, I think.
Who's heading to the Cat Cafe? Craftman Anti-Lacto.
Let's find out, shall we? And that's a little bit harsh on Cole, to be quite honest. It's not his fault that he's stuck in net there. I mean, you can direct your hate towards him, or as we established last night, all your complaints should just go to @StumpyGoblin on Twitter. But right here in this lower bracket semi-final, Thailand, we are going to lose one of these teams, and one of them will go on and face Kittens in that lower qualification game. In my opinion, I really can't call this. I mean, you would give the edge to Best Defenders Asia just simply because of the result with Warteg Barako, but you've got to remember who Warteg Barako were against in the first round.
That's the exact thing. They're a bit of an unknown factor, as I agree Best Defenders Asia, and coming into the day I would certainly consider them favourites here, and I do, but I have no idea what to expect out of Vortec Baraka. It's impossible to judge by their battering at the hands of Broccoli, who really seem to batter everyone. You can see Seacat Abyss is in here, and is now in the breakout, and that's pretty cool. They have played a substitute. Seacat Abyss is their sub, and unless my memory is terrible, he wasn't playing in the upper bracket here. We no longer have Derps with us. No, Derps was playing in the upper. He's not playing anymore, and I don't know how much difference it's made so far.
Well, it's not made a difference to the defense for Best Defenders Asia, because we said their best defense was their great offense, and they're starting things off on the right foot for themselves as they take the first goal in about 32 seconds. I say about exactly 32 seconds. But for Vortec Baraka, I think they need to really just push the best defenders back a little bit, test that defense, test their saying, all right, you say that you're the best defenders, all right, go ahead and defend them.
Yeah, that is really what they need to spot on in that fact. You can see when it comes to open play in the midfield as well, Best Defenders Asia are just reliably that bit more fluid, that bit quicker. Of course, as I say that, Seacat Abyss makes a great win to the challenge. He's warmed up his tyres in the pit lane, no problem. Got onto the field here as a substitute, but Dilo's going to run past that one, unfortunately. Seacat Abyss with a great performance so far. Has just got it past two with a double touch that includes landing on the ball and scooping around dangerously. And the shot is not on target from Inoxe, but it's come off the post. The follow-up, Vortec Baraka was so close.
That's so unfortunate. Seacat Abyss did all the work to get that in position and just bounces along the goal line. No goal dropping for Vortec Baraka. Best Defenders Asia right back on the front foot here. After that little bit of a dilemma back on their own back line, they're two in front now with off the boot of Squirrel.
Squirrel clearly looking as sharp as ever. Rapduang with a nice touch out, and he's still got it. He slams it across the net there, as Vortec Baraka may have some great dishes and food options, but it seems they don't have much when it comes to defense right now.
Not right now. I've just been told brilliant commentator down in the OC Asian region of Gex. He says apparently Best Defenders Asia is literally just an in-joke between me and him and Squirrel. He dared me to call him that on stream, and I did, or he did. So, I mean, they are living. Do you reckon they are living up to that mark, or are they the best defenders here in Asia?
No, I think Bacon's right.
I think they're the best attackers, though.
Yeah,
especially at least in this one.
Squirrel's looking sharp as well. He just made that super soft placement. You have to say Inoxe's made a meal of the save. He's jumped so early, but that happens. When players feel under pressure and they feel that and they're nervous, you always jump before you turn rather than turn before you jump. He didn't have much to turn there, but the early jump just really ended up ruining it, and that's a really painful goal to concede. It's really dents what you feel you're capable of, because let's be honest, he did end up looking a bit silly there.
Certainly so. We said Vortec Baraka with the really unknown factor coming into today is Optimistic Noon out of the Merc, which I'm disappointed to see.
Yeah,
but Vortec Baraka, as the fourth goes in, they are essentially a pickup team. You were saying earlier, a lot of all of the players on this roster came as substitutes from other rosters just to form this team for the Intel World Open, and that's not something that's been uncommon throughout the course of this week. Other players, maybe substitutes, maybe even starting members of given rosters, just forming together to try and form a team that could maybe challenge the top dogs, or be a little bit of an underdog themselves, and they are certainly seeming like the underdogs here. This looks like it's going to be 5, and it will. Squirrel gets it this time.
He had there's just good vibes here from his teammate. Squirrel is going to get another one. It could easily have been stolen. Could easily have stole that goal, could Rapduang, but good vibes. Smiley face in chat for Rapduang here. Letting Squirrel get another. That's the teammate we all need. Might not be the teammate we always deserve, but it is the one that they've got here on Best Defenders Asia. I mean, you talk about, of course, the sub Seacat Abyss coming in. He was also a sub back in the Indonesian Nationals for, guess what team? Broccoli. Right?
Broccoli. Oh.
It was Broccoli. I mean, maybe he's learned a tip or two. Even if he has, it's not coming to fruition right now, as they did start strong and they absolutely should have equalised at 1-1. But since then, it's all turned quite ugly.
Very ugly indeed. And Squirrel just trying to put the pressure on a little bit. And it would be good for Vortec Baraka to get one goal in this game. They obviously got blown out 11-1 in their first game of the day. Not quite at this level just yet. Oh, this one might trickle in. It's a wayward touch from Squirrel, but he does have the momentum to send it back into the corner. I don't think this is going to be on the level of an 11-1 quite.
No.
But it's got that kind of vibe about it. You feel that Vortex Barco, at least at this early going into the series, they are getting outmatched and outclassed.
Yeah, it has escalated since that first minute or two, and it's ironic because that's exactly what we saw against Broccoli, right? They start strong, but when that confidence goes, it really does go for Vortex Barco. You can see Enoxe trying to get the ball forward, but there's just no options. They are fully on the defensive, trying to turtle up and save face, and this late into game one, you can't really blame them. Maybe they can get a counter-attack here. Seacar, this pops it up, but Raftuang and all three of the best defenders, Asian players, they're just so much more efficient in how they move about and space about the field, that they get way more boost and being more comfortable. They just are too fast, and look who's scored again.
It's that squirrely guy again. An optimistic noob. He's been good at passing this ball then. He was a scorer. He was scoring quite often in the Kittens series. He had a couple of great goals. 6-0 here. And Squirrel starting to show what he is capable of, along with the rest of best defenders. I don't think we're going to quite see a Brazil. Might see 7 as Raftuang gets that one off the crossbar. We'll at least see one here from Enoxe, and it does set up the Brazil opportunity.
17 seconds left. That involves 2 digits, a 1 and a 7. Is that foreshadowing? Could be a premonition of what is to come. I certainly could see it happening. I mean, a credit to Enoxe there. It would have been a disaster had he missed. And it was cross field. It is going to be 6-1. It is going to be their first goal of the series, and hopefully not the last. In fact, I'd be very surprised that it is, if it is. They've had some good offense that's shown at times. Speaking of good offense, though, Squirrel with an absolutely blazing doink. That would have been a way to get it, but will they actually get it here? It is air dribbled nicely. It is popped away by Tito. A great touch to make there, as everyone was hounding him down there. He hasn't owned goal either. It will go down. We will not get the Brazil, but best defenders Asia, they are very much on top right now.
Very much so. I'm still upset. We've still to see, well, at least me and you have still to see a Brazil this week. This is our last opportunity to possibly see one, because I reckon if best defenders are to go on and face Kittens, I think that one might be a little bit more competitive. I mean, we saw 3 out of the 4 games they played earlier were 1-goal games, 2 of which went to overtime. So for best defenders, I think if they to go through, just get Vortex Barco done and dusted here, win the next 2 games fairly cleanly, they'll have it all to do against the Kittens in that lower qualification game. There's still to get past Vortex here. Do you reckon there'll be a little bit more fight in the bellies for Vortex Barco to try and save themselves?
What we've seen so far of Vortex Barco is their strong start, but if they get nothing to hold on to and cling on to during that, then I really struggle to stretch my belief. But you see here, they are breaking through, and they are trying to link up in the blue half. They could easily strike first, certainly if there's a mistake on the best defenders Asia side, but they will be wanting to prove that they're the best defenders Asia. But of course, you look at Broccoli in both their series today. What a save from Raftuang. That's outrageous there. That could easily and should have been 1-0, but that save, the pre-jump, absolutely perfect, and the pre-jump saves are not going to be there at the other end. Raftuang, the difference maker right now.
An optimistic move to set him up off it as well. He's done that so well. Yes, he's moved out of the Merc, which we're all disappointed in, back to the Fennec, which is basically a slimmed down Merc. It's just a little bit of fat off the top, just trim that away. It's like the Merc if it drove through, you know, the 11-foot 8 bridge on YouTube. It's like it just tears the lid off of any truck that goes through it. It looks that's exactly what the Fennec looks like. It looks like if a Merc drove through a low bridge and just takes the roof off.
It stopped halfway, so it was just a save from Dealer. He was going back towards his own net there, all the momentum taking him and the ball to the net, and yet he poked it just outside the post, and poked just inside the post. Is Seacutter this? Look at this angle.
Impossible angle near enough, but he gets it nonetheless, right off the post as well. couldn't quite see. I think that was Raptoang who just flew in at the last second there. But out of nowhere, I think that is what Warteg need to start utilising. So utilise these surprising attacks downfield quickly. That is what their game plan really needs to be if they want to have any chance here against Best Defenders Asia. And I think you were going to mention it as well. The Best of it. Oh, that. Okay, I'll just shut up now.
I mean, Raptoang, the form he's in, the pass from Squirrel, it's beautiful. This guy is so good, and that angle even better from Raptoang. It's 2-1. We're going to talk about the fact that Broccoli in both their series conceded 2 goals.
Yes.
Currently, we're at the 2-goal mark for Best Defenders Asia. They can't afford to concede another if they're going to tie that feed. Now, I think they will concede another. I can't imagine Best Defenders actually being the best defenders after what we've seen so far today.
Yeah, I mean, Best Defenders, well, if you take total for the day, Broccoli have conceded 4 goals. Best Defenders conceded a few more than that.
A few more.
Just a few more.
In their series against the Kittens, they managed to concede, 11.
So maybe the Best Defenders, at least against Warteg here, and they'd love to not concede again. I mean, the Brazil has been set up 5 goals to fight if they are to get it, but Warteg, they have been a little bit better in this one, and we said at the start of the Broccoli series that we saw against them with Warteg. They were defending quite well, and they were able to hold their own for most of this one. And this one looks like it might get turned in right from midfield. Cherry picked, and Anoxi ties it up.
And it's not the first time he's done it as well. Best Defenders ended up with a big whiff in the midfield. This angle is no joke there. Reverse angle, redirecting it in as we approach half-time here in Game 2. And suddenly the Best Defenders are no longer the Best Defenders. We all probably knew that they never would have been. However, they have been slapped in the face with reality here. Vortex are up and fighting, and this is what we needed. And they're going to get that confidence. They've proven they can do it. They may be getting demoed by Raptoang, but knowing they can do it like this, dangerous again. Hang on a minute, crap, man. I mean, this is suddenly very uncomfortable.
It's looking very sloppy from Best Defenders Asia as well. Squirrel was just so far out this year, wasn't entirely sure where he was coming from, and he didn't even pick up the boost, so I'm not sure how much he had left of the tank. He does manage to squeeze that one away, and we remain tied here. It's going to give Warteg Barraco a lot of confidence. The highest scoring game for them so far today. They've only scored 1 goal in a couple of games. Now they've got 2 here in this
Why not get 3?
semi-final, and they will get 3, and Noxie puts them in front.
That's another poor touch here, but it's been forced out by Secret Abyss. Raptoang hasn't got the touch at all, and Anoxie, with the 3rd open net he's going to get, he hasn't missed a single one, and that is huge when you consider the fact that, you know, back in the upper bracket, the likes of Broccoli were missing quite embarrassing open nets, if not for Cool Cole saving it just on the goal line, of course. 3-2 will be the scoreline, and suddenly they need an equaliser with 90 seconds left, and they're probably already casting their minds, they were, to the lower final potential matchup against the Kittens. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, a classic matchup wherein both the qualifiers and the Indonesian national, the team that won in the uppers ended up losing in the lowers, and that certainly bodes well for Best Defenders Asia if they get to that lower final qualification place. But at this rate, they might not get to it at all. They're still down 3-2.
Oh, but like we said, Best Defenders Asia not expected to be in this position. 3-2 down with a minute left, and Warteg Barraco with intent now to maybe even score the 4th. Optimistic move now. Try to roll this one round from the left-hand corner. Squirrel will go up to the back wall, no boost. And every time that we switch to a Best Defenders Asia player in the last maybe 30 seconds or so, Tailacto, they have not had a lot of boost. I think Raptoang there with 60. That's the most boost I've seen him have in quite a while.
A slap of
what a shot though.
Save from Dealer to get back in time. Once again, the master of the goal line saves that looks like you might own goal, but he doesn't even make it close. That's dangerous again though. No saving that, and Squirrel on another setup from the optimistic noob who turns there so quickly, gives no respect or time. It's weighted so well, as is the shot, and we're at 3-3. 6 goals this game too.
That play is just how you draw it up on the whiteboard before you come out to the out to the field. Lovely stuff, and now Best Defenders Asia a chance now to close this one out and possibly even go to overtime. Warteg Barraco would love to send this one in the last 10 seconds. Raptuang has other ideas though, has scrolled back and up here on the air dribble, and Noxie does take it away. Optimistic Noob, he's been
it's dangerous.
And he finds Squirrel yet again. Dila gets the save, the third of the match for him, and this is an overtime yet again.
Could be the save that keeps them in the tournament here in the lower bracket. You can't really be affording to go 2 down unanswered here. Warteg Baraka, they are preying on a mistake right now, but can they force it out themselves? It's still, it's dangerous again. It's slammed and down off the crossbar from Seacutter. This is not going to find the back of the net though, but the panic on the best defenders or the worst defenders is really evident to see on their defense. Dealer, he's going to make an uncharacteristic whiff, but back in time, and Oxy is going to bail him out, but for how long will it matter? It's down off the backboard again. It's still but dangerously sent towards his own net. The optimistic Noob, one whiff is there. They block it, but it's still central. Waftrain, he's going to miss, but the respect, the shot hasn't come through. It's bouncing and it's still dangerous, but the clear is there. Eventually from Raftwang, Warteg Baraka, they're really giving too much space and respect, and once again here, Seacutter is on the back foot. And how have the best defenders got away with that?
I haven't a clue in Thailand, so this overtime really should have been over. They've got away with murder, and Warteg Baraka, they have done a better job of getting this ball down. One man to beat is Seacutter Abyss, and he does get a game on the board for Warteg Baraka. No sweep city here in the lower semi-final. We've got a series on our hands.
It's a side flip from Optimistic Noob as he gets the corner boost. Seacutter Abyss took that ball from end to end, and somehow this series is tied up. You would not believe it after game 1, but this is a different sort of play from Warteg Baraka. They look like a different team, and well, no defenders Asia at times just seem to be shooting themselves in the foot.
Maybe it's just the play of Seacutter Abyss, who's just been... he's bred new life into this team, quite honestly. They seem more attacking, more aggressive to Warteg Baraka, and they know the best defenders Asia don't really have the best defense. It's just it's all a ruse, everybody. They're just joking about. But they know if they can just pressure this defense a little bit more. There's a brilliant chance at the start of this game, number 3, tied at 1 in the series. That could have put them ahead.
I can't watch. That's so painful. They should be up in the game, theoretically in the series, as no defenders were back again. I see a great comment from chat here saying they never said what they're defending in Asia. It might not be the net though. There's a very fair point here, as we somehow, literally somehow end up still being at 0-0. It's not the most... the worst part is it's probably not the most catastrophic open net miss we've had today, and yet this is what is happening under the pressure and potential to represent your entire country with so much money on the line. It's no surprise that the players are faltering. It's so difficult to play under this level of expectation, and you see that out of the best defenders Asia, who are certainly favourites in this matchup, but have managed to lose at least 1 game.
Nerves are jangling for the best defenders Asia, looking to have that rematch against Kittens in the lower qualification match, and they do finally get one on the board. They should have been 1-0 down, it should be tied at 1, but best defenders Asia have the lead.
It's a good recovery on the wall from Squirrel though. Dealer not at the back post, couldn't contest that ball. He tried hard to get that block, but Optimistic Noob's shot was never gonna be stopped. As kick off again here, but struck first half the best defenders Asia, you have to say. But it doesn't really matter. Warteg Baraka have come back from behind, and they easily could again.
Very much could, and especially the way that best defenders Asia have been playing, and Denoxy will get a freebie. The own goal from best defenders Asia. Can we just rename them already? Can we just... Wait, we can't even call them best defenders. Can we just call them Asia? Just take best defenders out of the name.
I don't think Asia. I don't think we can say Asia has defending that bad. Like, that's not representative. This is...
It's not. We've seen fantastic. We've seen some brilliant Asian teams over the course of the week here at Thailand, and there have been better defenses than this.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the teams are great in their own way as well, but the defense at times has been questionable, and certainly no more questionable than it has been right now, but that's fine. It just means we get more goals, and another goal is going to go in at the hands of Raftuang, as that whiff on the backboard. Seacutter Abyss has been so good and reliable most of these games, but that one whiff is going to get punished.
All 3 goals coming off the boots of Best Defenders Asia in this one so far, but it is 2-1. I said earlier that Best Defenders, their best defense was their good offense. Has slowed down somewhat in the past little while. That pitch, it's going to be an open net. They've got plenty of time to set this one up, and rolls it in, does Raptowang.
I was worried I was going to get flashbacks of our previous series, but no problem. He didn't make it as easy as he could have, but confidence you have to respect there. Raptowang slapping that in at a fair rate of knots. It's 3-1, 3 minutes on the clock, 2-goal lead. Best Defenders Asia just have that to defend. Maybe they can defend that, no problem. Abyss isn't going to find the contact he was looking for, so Vortex Baraka going to get caught up on the defensive again.
I'm with you on that as well. You've just seen that one roll towards an empty net. It's like, we've seen this so many times today where it does not go in. Luckily for Best Defenders Asia, they do get a one on the board, or another on the board, I should say. 3-1 up, possibly 4-1 up as we approach half-time. Vortex Barako, I said they wanted to be aggressive. They are starting to get that aggression rolling, although you see Noxley and Dila just sitting back. I want to see them have a crack at this net, because whenever they've came down and had a go, they've been successful.
It's a little bit of a whiff again on the defense, but no problem at all. I don't like to highlight it. It's just kind of repetitive as that shot again comes off the crossbar. Vortex Baraka, their shots have been dangerous at times, but sometimes you feel like they could have easily got more goals than they have with just a couple inches difference on their shots. It's from out of nowhere, and Octay came and slammed that one. It was, of course, over the bar, but you can see the surprise on the Best Defenders Asia faces. They were just sort of like, whoa. Out of nowhere, okay. It seems he's come there and just slapped it dangerously, but no danger on the shot end up eventually. There's certainly danger here. That one was out in front of the net, but Anoxe making a good save here. Time still ticking down in this game 3. That's a go-ahead game in the series. Squirrel has the shot to take. It's not going to be on the mark. Dealer has deflected it sideways. It's awkward on the block, but he's going to be able to clear it downfield again. It's just straight to the hands of the optimistic noob, who does get dunked pretty damn hard, and it's rolling around again. Nothing too clear-cut.
It's all well and good, Vortex Baraka just keeping up their defense for what it's worth. They've got to turn it into offense at some point, and Anoxe might have just given away the 4th straight up into the hands of Squirrel. Now Best Defenders Asia just moving this ball downfield, just holding on to it, not letting Vortex Baraka have a go at it as they really want to. Like I said, I think if Vortex Baraka just bring this into the blue half and have a crack at net, they will be successful. But the Best Defenders Asia are doing a grand job holding on to this ball and preventing that from happening.
Raptowang is running that round at speed. In fact, he's got another touch in it before Squirrel does. He tries to link up back into the midfield, but a good block coming out from Anoxe, who's really shone on defense in the past couple of minutes. Dida's first hit was great for a setup for the double touch, but he couldn't quite reach that second touch. But reaching the touch was Anoxe there. He just couldn't turn his shot on target. His optimistic move does a great job there. He runs it down the line past one, demos him and takes the boost. And he ended up sideways. He was like, whoa, what have I just done here? Is it maybe a dangerous shot? It's up for the redirect. It is. The save is there, but so is the follow-up. And 8 seconds on the clock. Vortex Baraka back within 1.
Look at this touch from Dila, up from Anoxe as well, just draws the defenders to that. And Anoxe coming across the face of the net, it's just, even though Raptowang didn't have a chance to get back on that one and recover in time, it confuses him just a little bit, just screens out that shot coming through. And now off the kickoff, they have the advantage. Vortex Barako barreling down the throats. Although Squirrel is able to send that right back into midfield. Abyss is there, but it's a big pinch right back into the middle of the field. I thought that might have been hitting off of the apron there, but Best Defenders do get that one down and are 1 game away from a rematch with Kittens.
That was some good defense there. A highlight performance for me from Raptowang. He's made a difference. You see him across the pitch, across that entire game. It was a huge block there to keep that 3-2 lead. You have to think that Vortex Baraka would have been favourites again, having already won an overtime this series if they could have forced one in that 3rd game. But now, Best Defenders 1 game away from moving on to that qualification match, and Vortex Baraka are 1 game away from being eliminated.
And to be eliminated at this stage of the competition must suck. But we've got to lose somebody. We've got to lose 2 of these teams. And Vortex Baraka, we said they're the unknown factor, the underdogs today. They've shown some grand underdog spirit, taking a game here in the lower opening rounds. And they'll go away with their heads held high if they are to lose this one. In Squirrel, this is what we wanted to see from Best Defenders Asia. We know how capable they are in offense. They're starting to show it.
Every time he gets an uncontested shot, Squirrel has just been ripping bullets left, right, and center as that one dead down the center with so much power that nobody on Mortec Baraka could even get close to stopping it. The reaction and positioning had to be so on point, and it instead was just off the mark, and they're going to have to come back from behind again, which seems to be their specialty right now.
It does seem that way. One goal lead is always the most vulnerable. Here comes Squirrel, and going to make it two. No, Dila steps in front of it. Just completely out of nowhere. Had no idea where Dila came from. Just dropped really out of the heavens. Sideways, I suppose. Optimistic. We'll look to follow it up, and it's a quick 2-0.
Such a teasing, floating pass from Squirrel here, who keeps it central and dangerous. That's a really good touch from him. An optimistic noob had a way easier run onto that ball than Dealer did. It ended up being uncontested into an undefended net, effectively. It's Best Defenders Asia. They double down on their lead. They really want that rematch with the Kittens.
They really do, and to have a chance at qualification as well. Remember, no bracket resets today. Next game that you see on, or the next match I suppose you see on stream, will be for qualification between Kittens and whoever wins from here. Right now that's looking like Best Defenders Asia, and you got to remember how close it was in that Kittens matchup. And Raf Doang, he wants a crack at $6.5 grand. He'd love to have that matchup against the feline team in the next round.
The pass from Optimistic Noob again. You could see the entire Wartec Baraka defense at his mercy, waiting on the net like, please don't hurt us, and he just passes it off with another lovely weighted pass, and the shot just became unstoppable.
What do Wartec Baraka need to do to get back into this matchup? Because Best Defenders Asia have just been pushing and pushing and pushing them, and not giving any quarter here in the lower semi-final in this game number 4. Wartec Baraka just need to get this possession back and just barrel it downfield a couple of times.
It's just the panic that has been non-stop setting in. You can't tell a team that's 3-0 down in match point then they're about to be eliminated to just not panic, but that is where it is going wrong here. The composure isn't there. They feel second best. They feel outclassed against this Best Defenders Asia side. They feel the pressure of this tournament, and right now it's just going from bad to worse with their early jumps. They are going to get a big win on this challenge here. And with a double commit, suddenly everyone is racing back to Best Defenders Asia. This net has been open. It has to be punished, and yet it goes unpunished here. We stay at 3-0. A huge opportunity falls by the wayside.
And Sika Abyss has been really the guy on Wartec Baraka during this lower semi-final who's made those shots in just an uncharacteristic whip from him. Will allow this one to trickle down to half-time with Wartec Baraka still to score, and a couple of good chances there taken away by the defence of Best Defenders Asia. We were criticising their defence earlier on Lacto, but they're certainly stepping their game up here for a chance of qualification.
This be their first clean sheet of the day?
For Best Defenders, I think
so. Yeah. I think it will be.
Yeah, it will be.
Impressive, actually.
I think it's...
Yeah, it is.
I was sorry, I was going to say it's the first clean sheet of the day, but it's the first clean sheet of the day outside of Broccoli.
Okay, now that's fair enough, but they still have 2 minutes to try and keep it, and I could see them losing it. They've had a couple freak moments every now and again, but a good performance on the whole, really. Wartec Baraka have to step up their game right now, or else it will be too late. It's just going to be jostled about in the midfield. An Optimistic Noob, again, look at the composure he's got, faking out the defense, forcing the commitment here. Sika Abyss is going to slap it down to the right, and he's going to do a good job of it. He's allowed to follow it up, but the Delo Squirrel pays with his life to get that one away from the blue net. Again,
Sika Abyss just trying to create opportunities for Wartec Baraka. He's been a revelation since he was subbed in for this series. I think he has been the better player that you to bring him in, and Noxie just barely avoids the own goal. Would have been maybe the third one of the day, but it's the fourth of this game for Squirrel. on Best Defenders Asia. They're starting to run away with it. Yeah.
Oh, they get in each other's way and it turns into a great backboard pass. Squirrel, textbook finish. That's so unfortunate for Vortec Baraka. It's not their first double commit. It might not be the last, but it certainly has been punished harshly. And Squirrel, he's going to be up for another. He's going to slap it. He's not going to get another instead. Raf Duang is, I mean, nothing's going Vortec Baraka's way. Look at this save from an Oxy. How does this end up going out mid like this? Like, come on.
No.
That's just summed up their day, really.
It's just unfortunate, and just nothing has gone their way. I will say, like, that has been Vortec Baraka's sort of downfall in this series. They have been making some key blocks, but they haven't really been accounting for the second man, even the third man coming in for Best Defenders Asia, and that is just a lovely roll through from Optimistic. Noob finds Raffle Dank for his third.
Look at that free-flip though, length he gets above that, and he gets it past an Oxy who sees the speed of the challenge, ends up backflipping to cover the near post, manages to squeeze it in past him. He has no right scoring from there, but he has done it marvellously. You're right to sort of highlight the second ball on the Vortec Baraka defense there as well. It becomes so hard for them to cover the second ball and not leave uncontested shots when they get so closed up and bunched on the defense. Means they cover so little of the pitch effectively and so little of where spare balls end up flying. They are going to link up nicely on the defense to keep control of it, but they can't keep control of it for long because Squirrel is absolutely hounding, running up the trees, and he's running around the defense there. And 6-0, it's got to be over at this point.
Surely it's got to be over. Maybe not over for the Brazil as of yet. Just want to see one Brazil. That's all I want out of this.
Well,
we've got 7. Will they? No. Here's the thing. There's this argument about, oh, if you go 7-0 up to you, it's a love. Okay, well, we'll just appreciate it's a brilliant pre-jump, and Raf Duang is really starting to shine in this series. Now, the argument is it sportsmanlike to allow the one goal in from Vortec Baraka? 7-1. Is that
one team got was it triple trouble? Got some slack for delivery over goaling, like DreamHack Valencia, I think it was.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe it's not going to happen. I mean, if it's a team getting eliminated, maybe it's harsh. Maybe we'll see it. Squirrel, you are the one with the power. Instead, he says, you know what, I want 8. He sends it hopefully down. Can Vortec Baraka keep it up reliably? It has popped out dangerously. It won't be 8. It's sent high and wide. It's still kept up though. 0 seconds.
Go on, an Oxy.
Trying to get it downfield, but he's going to be hitting it down. It's bounced. It's dangerous. He's still kept it up.
It's been up for this long.
Surely they can't reach that. It will be 7-0. It will be Best Defenders Asia. It will be their first clean sheet of the day, and building off that with a 3-1 win going into our final matchup here against the Kittens. It is the rematch. Can they get their revenge? Oh, it's going to be a juicy, juicy series, and we'll have it after this break.
Tap to pay with Visa. It's that fast. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
Welcome back to the Intel World Open. It's the Asia Maritime Closed Qualifier. And we have only got one series left on the docket. Myself, Ira League, him, Digital Bacon. I'm so happy for Warteg, Bacon. I'm so happy. They got themselves a game, but Best Defenders Asia, very sus title at this point. I'm not entirely sure they have the right to call themselves that, but at least their offense was clicking.
Yeah, it's like Best Offenders Asia, I think, is the correct title, because I'm feeling offended by that defense. Again, their attacks, they do be popping. I mean, damn, look at that.
But also look at this. And it's that side of things which I am very worried about as we wave goodbye to Warteg. Of course, we welcome in the grudge match. Of course, Kittens sending Best Defenders Asia down to the lower bracket. And quite frankly, even though they got 3-0 by Broccoli, I was introducing the concept on our last segment where we were like, oh, well, you know, maybe after being 3-0'd, it could affect morale, it could affect confidence. But if I am a player doesn't matter which one. If I'm a player and I'm looking at this series and I'm looking at the amount of farcical defensive errors that are coming out from Best Defenders Asia, then I'm thinking, even if we have a slow start, we're going to have opportunities, and through those opportunities, momentum builds.
Yeah, so I'm just going to come out and say it, like, straight up, I'm supporting Kittens for this next one. I'm being a biased caster here. Purely because, not only, one, Kittens is a cute name, and I want to see a team called Kittens go through to the regional finals just for the whimsy of it, but also, they can't keep getting away with it. There is no way you can be that poor in defense and still get wins. Again, their attacks are very good, but it feels like a punch in the face.
Did you just say they can't keep kitting away with this?
You can't keep getting away with all these bad puns, buddy.
Yes, I can. Always. It doesn't matter when or where. It happens.
Let's look what's happening next, okay? Kittens versus Best Defenders.
No game 5s today. It's all sweeps or 3-1s. Is this the time? Are we finally going to get a best of 5 going the distance, Bacon? Especially with a qualifying place on the line. The stakes have never been higher.
You're true.
Except for every other time this week when it's a grand final.
There's so many grand final opportunities. I mean, Samrock, being able to bring it back against Falcons. But here, right now, this is the last spot. There is no coming back from this one. Kittens, the new kids on the block, trying to take down the more experienced team in Best Defenders Asia. And I mean, Best Defenders Asia, I wonder if it's just complacency that's sort of here. We know Skrill and Optimus and Noob sort of like taking a step back from the competitive scene. Skrill actually retiring about 6 months back. So coming back into this one because, well, Intel World Open, a lot of money up for grabs, right? And they're looking at this going, well, we should be able to easily take it. And I love that Kittens are bringing some really stiff competition to it.
It is our final series of the closed qualifier then. Craftman, Tylacto, let's do it.
Let's do it, absolutely. Thank you very much, boys. You have been fantastic on the desk all week. Glad to have shared at least a virtual studio with you all of this week. Hopefully share the studio with you in just a few weeks' time for the regional finals. But Tylacto, it's been great to share these boxes with you as well, and up here in the Jumbotron. And for our final series of the week, for us personally, Kittens against Best Defenders Asia. It was a closer-ish matchup earlier. But honestly, the way that Best Defenders played in that last series, I'm agreeing with Bacon. I think this is definitely Kittens to lose.
I think it's Best Defenders Asia. Absolutely.
What?
I mean, they nearly had double the shots of Kittens in that series. And if you looked at the previous trends, both times these two teams have played each other, both in Indonesian Nationals and the Open Qualifiers. The team that won in the uppers lost in the lowers. Why would that trend stop?
I mean, it's a heck of a lot of copium you're taking right there.
No, I will take all the 5 heads when Best Defenders Asia win this.
All right, well. Put your channel points through your mouth this.
I will. I've racked up quite a few thousand, in fact, but there's no prediction for me to do that because the tension, it would be difficult to pick a side, really. I mean, this is for a minimum of $6,500. You know?
Exactly.
The loser, what does the loser get, Craftman?
They get their BFH, their bus fare home, which I suppose they're at home, so they don't even get that. They get absolutely nothing.
Oh my goodness, the tension.
To get to this stage and be on the precipice of just winning 3 games. No bracket reset, remember, no grand final here today. This is straight up. Winner goes on. Winner gets at least $6,500, and Red's looking up to open up his bank account here in the lower final.
That wave dash recovery is the whole reason why he gets to that ball first. Do not underestimate that. The recovery, he looked fantastic in series earlier as well, and he's got off on the right foot here. No wheels or tyres going cold on the side of Kittens, who have had to wait a little break while we have our previous series on. Best Defenders Asia, they find themselves down, but for how long? No shot coming through from Rafdoang. That was a difficult angle, but you have to think if he got the contact on target, it would have just been in.
Would have been, and Best Defenders Asia looking to battle back here, but Back pass from Rez is actually good. Oh no, excuse me. Oh, back pass. It's an upfield pass, and Rez is there to riddle that one into the net.
It is funny, this replay. I mean, it's a nice pass, but then you get to see all three players sync as this shot gets past every single one of them. They all jumped at the exact same time. It was like perfect synchronized swimming at the Olympics. It was like hilarious how perfectly they were all in parallel, and the shot went past all of them. It's unfortunate, but credit to Rid. He struck again here inside 2 minutes, and he's really in form right now.
Yeah, those keepers flip.
Never mind.
Flipping to get a Panini, and Squirrel, he's looking to maybe bag himself a Panini as well. I mean, $6.5 grand, you can buy a lot of Paninis, 2-1.
That's difficult for Ritz, to be fair. He had to get that out of the way of the on-rushing defender. I think his problem was that he took it up in the first place and hesitated to take the flick immediately. So yeah, it ends up being a great pass. Maybe there was a quick chat for it. Who knows? We don't get to see. It's 2-1 the scoreline, and big goal for Best Defenders Asia to keep himself in this first game. And really, they do want it to continue their momentum from the previous series, as Bagasanante, he's not going to get the shot he was looking for, which is surprising given how on point he was in their previous series, and he's going to get the goal anyway, following a whiff, but it was a little bit of a tiny finish indeed.
It wasn't tidy in the first instance.
No,
and we've seen that from Bagasanate a few times throughout today, where he might whiff the first shot. It's really been from Kittens as well, and I think we saw it for Broccoli where they just completely whiff the open net and then follow up when there's 3 defenders are in the box waiting for it. It's not uncommon for these Indonesian players to have the success on the second attempt. And now on the first attempt here will be blocked away. Still with a 3-1 lead, but Best Defenders Asia looking to go downfield now. Raptuang find his teammate Squirrel, who's for my liking, I think. Him and Raptuang have been the better 2 players. Optimistic Noob. He's had his moments, but he not really on the level of the other 2 players, as this one just drops like a stone and Bagasanata puts it in.
Where was the orange wall in front of the net? It's got straight on through. Raptuang getting dunked. Squirrel trying his best as well, but it's another close range finish from I was going to say Raptuang, it's Bagasanata, and it's 4-1. Suddenly this game is getting a little bit away from Best Defenders. We're only at half-time here. At this rate, they'd be conceding 8 goals. Somehow, I can't see that happening, or at least I certainly hope not.
There's a bit of symmetry to the earlier series that these 2 played. It was 4-1 in that first game, then the rest of them were 3-2, with 2 of them going to overtime as well.
Oh, Squirrel.
Oh, this isn't going to be finishing 4-1 though. 4-2 at the very least. Squirrel puts it in.
Nice first touch, gets itself within reach of him, but out of reach of the defenders. They end up waiting, but Bagasananta couldn't wait long enough there. In fact, he waited too long, really. And the fact that he couldn't take off in time, he'd had to have pre-jumped to make that save, because there was a lot of hot sauce and power on that one. Maybe it's going to be another off kick. What a save from Rez, getting back to net in time.
Just in the nick of time. Now Best Defenders Asia. That second goal for them is going to inspire maybe just a little bit of confidence to come forward a little bit. We have seen them having success when they push their opponents to their limits. Kittens now might feel a little bit of a comfortable lead. Oh, that's a brilliant upfield pass. Finds Squirrel, the cherry pick into the net. Bring back the 1.
Brilliant. I mean, the challenge from Riz looked good, but there was a gap as Bagasanta went for boost, didn't get it, and Squirrel slams it in at the near post, and suddenly that's 2 in quick succession for the Best Defenders Asia, and they are back within 1 with well over 1 minute to work with. And Riz, he's going to try and run it downfield. He gets himself immediately demoed. Really, Kittens are on the ropes here, but they are not going to be for much longer. They immediately push back, slap Best Defenders Asia back across the ring. Like, we're in charge. Some more sloppy, admittedly, defense, but credit to Rez, he immediately punishes.
Criminal defending from the Best Defenders. Everyone clumped together in that right-hand corner, and Raptuang, he just needs to just watch that one go in, because he was sort of going backwards and forwards on the back wall, not really sure where to go, and then when he finally makes the decision, it's a little bit too late. And this one, looking to go all the way down. Squirrel does put it to the side. Back in front by 2 are the Kittens. And as the timer ticks down on this one, 8 goals in this one. I think that our high watermark of the day so far has been 12 goals total. I don't think we're going to get to that total in this one, but Best Defenders Asia. If they can get this next one, Tylacto, they'll have a chance.
We might beat the overall series record of 26 for us. Really, because this could go to 5 games, right?
Yeah.
This is 8 in game 1. It'd be hard to keep up. We averaged 8 a series in the very first series of the day, but it was only 3 games, and that shot is gonna hit the crossbar. It's cleared downfield by Bagasananta. I mean, it gets dunked, but he did such a good job of hoovering that one across to just deny the immediate shot onto net. As still, Best Defenders Asia are trying to get that, but they just can't get it clear cut. Rez with a great double touch is going to relieve so much pressure off the defense. You see the scrambling now for Best Defenders Asia to get it back downfield. They're trying and doing well. Sorry, Rids, he will get beaten out in the midfield, but again, Bagasananta there touches it down to the side, and we're going to need a miracle now.
Yeah, the time just a little bit too much on Kittens' side. One more shot comes from the Squirrel, but nothing will come of it. Kittens 1-0 up, getting one of their feline feet into the
paws.
They're one of their paws.
Feline feet.
I'm sorry, I forgot pause is a word. Pause champagne. Kittens 5-3. Sorry, I buckled you. I buckled myself as well. Kittens 5-3 in that one. They looked like the better team throughout. And Best Defenders.
Feline feet.
Man, okay. Best Defender.
It was good alliteration. I respect it. It's not incorrect.
I'm gonna start using that. Feline feet. I'm never saying that again.
No, never.
Kittens, one paw in the regional finals is what I was trying to say. Best Defenders Asia. They need to start defending. That is the plain, simple language of what they need to do, is start actually blocking shots. Stop!
Sorry, okay. 0-0. Best Defenders Asia.
Of all the rubbish that we've talked about this,
that's true.
One that buckles you most is feline feet.
It is. I'm sorry. I mean, Kittens, at the moment, Bacon's prove him right. I will hopefully prove him wrong here. Best Defenders Asia, they need to complete the timeline of the team getting revenge in the lowers. It's happened the past 2 times, but is it 3rd time lucky for Bacon? Will he have predicted right? Hopefully not. Best Defenders Asia, they're going to get a demo on the offense through Optimistic Noob, and Squirrel, he's been so dangerous, but that was just a sort of calm pass across. Nobody there at the door to pick it up. Another demo as suddenly things are getting a little bit physical. You're at that brilliant low flick from Squirrel, but no real direction on the shot. We go goalless in the first minute, we do. Kittens trying to break out, but to little success. As a nice dunk from Raf Duang. Again goes mid, but it is again unanswered. Maybe the Best Defenders Asia, I think the idea of them getting the best defense is to always have 2 back, but with only 1 back, Raf Duang, he will make the save.
But the thing is, Best Defenders, their best defense throughout the course of the day has been in the midfield, not necessarily on their side of, on their goal line, I should say. They've done a great job at keeping their opponents in their own half, and they're doing exactly this, or they had done the exact same to Kittens in the opening minute of this game number 2. Squirrel wins that challenge out. No boost was spawned for him either. Has to call in Raf Duang, but gives Bagasananta plenty of space to finish this into the corner. Rez will follow this one up. Rez rotates back and will give space for Squirrel to clear downfield, but this one will be taken away cleanly by the defense.
Oh, I'm getting so nervous right now for Best Defenders Asia. They need this first goal to right the ship. You don't want to be staring down the likes of a 2-0 deficit. I mean, maybe the reverse sweep storyline would just be that much more satisfying, given the fact that it's, reminder, $6,500 this game is for here. And we're at 1-0 in the series advantage for Kittens, but still 0-0 in game 2. But for how long? No longer Squirrel. He will make the breakthrough.
And you just felt it was coming from Best Defenders Asia, because they were pushing, and all of a sudden that one mistake from the Kittens defense opens the net wide open and puts Best Defenders Asia, their front foot up, not a feline foot. They're actually Kittens, although Squirrel is a squirrel. Squirrely feet.
What species and genus do Squirrel come under?
Mammals, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they're warm-blooded, they don't lay eggs, so yeah, they are just mammals. That's pretty boring. One mammal foot.
Mammal foot.
Yes.
There's no alliteration I can get. I've tried my best, but My best is certainly not good enough. But right now, the best defenders Asia, their offense is starting to look pretty darn decent, and Squirrel drops that one down, a flick of the tail, and it goes in.
Really is nice. Raftuang did the work in the corner though to get it past Bagasananta, and Rez was so close, as was Rids. Both of them just unable to block it or keep it out, and suddenly it is 2 for best defenders Asia. But we saw this, the opposite of it, in game 1, whereas Kittens were immediately pegged back, and it ended up becoming a shootout back and forth and back until we ended up in that 5-3 scoreline. The question is, with just under 2 minutes on the clock, can we really have that many goals, or are we in for something very different?
Well, best defenders Asia want to put their best foot forward off the crossbar. Rez able to get that one out of harm's way, and now Bagasanata will follow this one up. Just a little bit of a whiff there will allow Rids to come in and keep this one deep in orange territory for the moment. The best defenders Asia so good at picking this ball back up, and you mentioned that the last game became a bit of a shootout, and I think if it does become that, if it's starting to go goal for goal, that gives Kittens the advantage, because best defenders Asia, they just want to keep this 2-goal lead. They do not want to let Kittens back in this at all.
And they want their second clean sheet of the day, and what a time it would be to get it here when you're down in the most important series you've played all day, potentially ever as well, really, when you consider the amount of prize money at stake. Rids, he has to make the block, but he's made an awkward takeoff. The touch is dangerous and over the bar, but Bagasananta gets a touch in, so that's deflected over the bar once more. Squirrel is spilled loose to Raftuang, but the shot is saved. But this is exactly where best defenders Asia want to be. They are penning in the Kittens into the kitten pen, literally, as Rez has to sort of scramble and stumble it across the pitch, and Raftuang is there. The amount of boost control best defenders Asia in the orange have right now is palpable here. The time, we need down to 30 seconds, and Kittens, they still need 2.
And the thing is, best defenders, they're playing to their strengths, which ironically is offense. Just keeping this ball going down in the blue half of the field and not giving Kittens any chance. The flip position, well, Rids will flip this one into the midfield. Rez was there to cut away, and that might just about do it here in game number 2. Looking to be a tie series in this one. Best defenders Asia, we know they can go tit for tat with Kittens. The question of, can they just hold this midfield? And they answered the question in this game here, Tylacto. The answer was yes, and best defenders tie things up.
We've been deprived of a game 5 all day. How fitting it would be if our final series of the week for us two ended up going to that. Kittens were restricted to just 3 shots in that game, as we are all tied up once more. You see the replay here, the open net being punished by Squirrel, and that can be so difficult to convert with so much at stake, and yet he did it. A quiet game for the optimistic noob there. Sub 100 points is uncharacteristic like him, but I know he does have struggles with his connection sometimes, and you never want that to strike now, which would be at the worst of times. Kittens, they go into game 3 even, but they also go in with the momentum.
I will say as well, I said about best defenders just wanting to switch everything onto offense. They only had 1 save in that game. 1 save total came from Raftuang, and no one else was able to save anything. And to be quite honest, the Kittens didn't have any opportunity to make them save anything, because they were not given any chance to move downfield. And that is the game plan for best defenders Asia going forwards. Offense from the best defenders is what we need. It's been a topsy-turvy week for a topsy-turvy team here as well, Tylacto. How appropriate is the final game that we're covering in the Intel World Open, the team calling themselves best defenders. We want them to go on offense.
It's their second clean sheet of the day, though. I'm so proud. Of course, I made a mistake in my previous sentence by saying Kittens are the one coming in with the momentum. They absolutely aren't. They've just been shut out. There's no momentum about that. In fact, it's dangerous in front of their net, but this time Rids, he sends it very far and very long. It's just sent right back, though, by the optimistic noob, and Squirrel is going to lose out on his 50. This next goal absolutely pinnacle to decide who's in front in this series and who's on top, really, as that shot has to be saved by Rez following a whiff from Bagasananta, who loses out on his back boost. That could prove to be very important here, as best defenders Asia, they still have the pressure. The 0 boost, Bagas still makes the block, though. Fair play to him, but he cannot contest this one. Squirrel, that midfield is all his. He's looking for the flip reset, but it is denied and shut down earlier, and that's well defended by the Kittens.
Well defended for now, but optimistic noob looking to move forward and shot was there for Squirrel, and this time for Raptoang, and Squirrel follows it up beautifully. Banger shots coming through, looking to break the spirits of the Kittens defense, but they're bending yet not breaking here, Tylacto, and that is what Kittens really need to come into this game thinking. We need to defend for our lives and then maybe just get one breakaway chance. Best Defenders Asia have just been taking this ball away from you, bullying you, saying, no, this is my ball, I'm taking it home, I want to play with this one. It's his mine, they're like the seagulls in Finding Nemo. Mine.
Oh, it's going to be in.
Raptoang, that's going to be his from his own side of the field.
Absolutely, they didn't learn to share at all when they were growing up. They want all the offense straight off the defense, the net. Any defenders, mod check again because there's none around for the Kittens. That one, you don't expect a direct shot from there, but you see, he could see that it was just completely open, so he just takes the shot. And Best Defenders Asia have just struck first again, and in fact, they're gonna get another optimistic new. Look at him, the professional bouncer.
They just seem like a completely different team. Every time that they've held court in the middle of the field, they just seem so revitalized and so much different from the team that we just got. They just got pummeled in game number 1. They're a far cry from that Best Defenders side. And Kittens, they just look a little bit. Right now, they might get one. It's not going. What on earth does that not roll in? Yes. Credited with the save.
But that was insane from Squirrel. He didn't get the bump. He literally got the tail spin into the scoop across the net. That was incredible from Squirrel.
Yeah, I know Squirrels have massive tails, but he's making his tail just absolutely massive in that one.
It's like a magic feather duster. I have no idea how he's pulled that off. It was incredible. That's massive that it's kept their 2-0 lead again, and they're very familiar with a 2-0 lead, and they're very familiar with holding on for it for about 2 minutes. It's exactly what they did last game, and Best Defenders Asia have turned this series around, and you can guarantee that Digital Bacon is moulding right now.
He's moulding, and not looking at this game and thinking, he sent me a kitten heart face earlier on. He's a full believer, but right now they're getting sent to the naughty step right now in Mr. Bacon's, I suppose, Rocket League school. They are getting schooled right now by the offensive Best Defenders.
It's kind of just a bit tame when they're offense. It hasn't been as dangerous. They haven't exposed the weak, ironic defense of the Best Defenders Asia, aside from the incredible show we just saw out of Squirrel on his back line. You see this? I mean, I was going to say it's a bit tame until they stepped it up with the demo there. They've just sort of been lapping away like the Kittens they are, and it's all not too dangerous. And really, it hasn't lasted. It's such a short spell for the Best Defenders to weather as they're going to be put under here again, but the midfield is controlled by Squirrel, who pops it past another defender, and Rid has to scramble back to clear it to the corner here. They need 2 in just over a minute, or they're going down match and qualification point, and that is not a place where you want to be.
Certainly not, and obviously coming into this one, we're obviously expecting Broccoli to go through, and they have. We were expecting the second team to be Kittens. But it seems like they might have to go to Game 5 if they want to get the best of Best Defenders Asia. But right now, the defenders are, I would say, starting to live up to their name a little bit. And Squirrel, my goodness. That's going to feel bad if you're a Kittens fan.
The way he just leans into that, the gamer stance with the dunk off the ceiling. Kittens are moulding. It's painful to watch. They're 3-0 down. They've been doing solid, but the margins are so fine, and Best Defenders Asia keep coming out on the right side of history with it. You see even this dunk, Rez losing out on. He just ended up a little bit too high, and they could be looking at back-to-back shutouts.
It would be amazing to see, and they're, like you said, the 3rd shutout of the day if they are to get it. 7-0, 2-0, and right now it's 3-0. There are 3 clean sheets of the day for Best Defenders Asia. As the time ticks down, they are going to be 1 game away from a regional finals appearance alongside Broccoli, alongside Australia and New Zealand. Could they be the second team for Indonesia to get through? We'll find out in the next 5 minutes, because this one's going to Game 4.
It really is. Not the sort of thing you expect to be in the same sentence, Australia, New Zealand and broccoli, but that is the situation here. One game away, the best defenders are, and it's on the back of Squirrel there. 2 goals, but the save of the day, not even close. The tailspin bump he got, that stop from Kittens being back. Look at that. And then he gets it across with like a pinch with the optimistic noob, I think. I have no idea. Of course, the ball wasn't like 90% in or anything, but that should have been a goal. That had goal written all across it. It had goal tattooed on it. And yet, the Kittens have to be sat there wondering, how? How did we score? And that's back-to-back times they've been scoreless. And going into the decisive game in the series, potentially, that's a disaster for the Kittens. They need to show up big, huge, and better than ever.
I saw Nish say in the chat, he posted the video of Hams getting his incredible save the other day. That's wide open for Squirrel, can't find the target. Nish was saying he'll probably have to post another video to Twitter to show off that save, because I'd love to see that in super slow-mo a little bit later on. Maybe we can break it down on the desk as well. Nevertheless, 2-1 for Best Defenders Asia. We never thought they would be in this position. We thought Kittens were just going to slog through this one.
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, sorry, I said we. I used the royal we. I never thought it. Bacon didn't think it. I don't think I really thought it either. Yes, you are the 5-head big brain here among us.
Among us indeed. Among us indeed, you're right. No imposters, although Squirrel, he's a little bit skeptical at the start of the game. That was a big open net chance. The thing about it, right, was I don't think he realised how much time he had to get it on target. He took it with such conviction and confidence, but unfortunately, he just managed to slam it with conviction wide of the mark, and he ended up looking silly. And you have to wonder if that knocked the stuffing out of him a little bit, and that's exactly what Kittens really needed. They didn't want to give up on open net as much as they did, but having best defenders miss one, that could be the confidence changer that they need, as they're being forced on the defense again. But to be honest, Kittens have looked strong in this opening 90 seconds, and they need to keep that up, as they are forcing it hopefully into the corner. But you see Ravdoang, he's been quiet for a while, but he's just been quiet and reliable as the touchdown. Again, not quite going to find the mark, but the save comes through strong.
I thought he was going to doink assist it for Best Defenders Asia towards his own net, but luckily for him, he keeps it away, and we still play on 0-0. And I would agree with you that Kittens have looked a lot better than they have shown throughout the course of this series in the start of this game, but there have been a couple of opportunities missed. I think Rez had a drop ball right in front of him, a peach of a ball, and it was an open net as well, and he doesn't find the target earlier on. Shot here from Magnus Anata. He's been radio silence from him on the scoring front of things for the last wee while. Need to see him stepping things up, because when he got going earlier for Kittens, they were looking pretty unstoppable.
And it was also in Game 4 where he scored the huge equaliser and winner to take them the series. Of course, this will be to force a Game 5, but maybe he's got a chance to do it here as well with the shot. But this time it's going to be saved. The shot not quite good enough, and this time the shot not going to come through at all. No contact found from Rids. Painful to watch, even painfuler for him to experience that whiff on the ball, as the nerves are coming through from both sides. You're going to meet, Best Defenders Asia could have had 2 if Squirrel was as clinical as he was last game, but no, we sit at 0-0 through 3 minutes into this decisive Game 4, but for how long is the question, as it was hopeful across the net from Ravdoang, but nobody taking command of that ball. It's sent back again by Squirrel, who touches it back to optimistic noob. He nearly worked that one in a very optimistic attempt, but didn't quite find the pop he was looking for. And again, we sit at deadlock, Craftman.
The thing is, Best Defenders Asia, they're going to be really optimistic about how this thing has been going, just keeping this at 0-0. To be honest, Kittens are probably feeling this the same way. Get that late goal, and you might have just confirmed yourself with, if it comes from Kittens, a Game 5, if it comes from Best Defenders Asia, a place in the regional finals, alongside Broccoli and the 2 teams from Asia and New Zealand, or excuse me, from Australia and New Zealand. Best Defenders Asia. Squirrel with a double touch. He's been scoring them all day long, and he might might have just put best defenders through.
Might have put them through to the regional finals. Ritz once again couldn't quite reach. It was such a hard save, but it was no easier of a shot. Squirrel at close range gets his car over the ball and gets the ball under the crossbar. We head for the final minute. Kittens, it is do or die here as they're sending it again towards the net, and it's spilled by Raftuang, but Squirrel is there with the clear. This man has had the best performance I have ever seen him put up, and he's meant to have been retired. That's the irony of the situation. He's been a standout star for the best defenders here. 40 seconds now. Kittens, they need it. The double commit is there, but the save from Raftuang, his saviour medal as it's ran down the mid. Who reached this spare ball? It's going to be optimistic news. All the way back, the Kittens are forced, and it's put towards the mid. The redirect is there, but it's
not target.
I wasn't actually that close, but it was a huge chance, and a huge chance they're going to need here. 20 seconds, Craftman. Do you believe?
Kittens certainly believe, and they're starting to push forward, but all the shots that the good opportunities they have, the shots have been on target. They might have been the top dogs coming into this one, but they are feeling low. Best defenders Asia with a second statement goal from Squirrel. Pull off what only Tylacto thought was possible.
Yes.
They take down the Kittens, and the best defenders Asia get back themselves a place in the regional finals.
Never doubt the Squirrel Man. The secret stash of acorns came out in that series, finding a different gear he did, as were the best defenders Asia, who kept 3 clean sheets in a row. Maybe they were right all along, and I look forward to seeing Digital Bacon try and keep a straight face as he breaks that one down after this break. Thank you.
Tap to pay with Visa. It's that fast. Visa, everywhere you want to be.
there are two certainties when it comes to Tylacto commentating on the Intel World Open. Welcome back, by the way. Either he can kill your career, or he's got the defibrillators to bring you back to life. My name IRLeague, his name Digital Bacon, and it looks like the Kittens had a bit of a furball in their throats because they choked a couple of huge chances.
Yep. Kitten Crew, I mean, just sad cat memes right now, really, because they were looking so good, and I don't know. It's the pressure, right there, when they're on the cusp of greatness to literally making a giant name for themselves, and it, well, just sort of goes pear-shaped, don't it?
It's so strange, isn't it? Shout out to Tylacto for the biggest brain play of the day in actually choosing Best Defenders Asia. Here's the thing. I thought
choosing the team with more experience, with more history, with better results, the statistically better team.
Look, he was like, oh, you know, it's how these teams always play. They always win in the lower bracket and upper bracket. It was all sweeps up until this point, and it was 3-1. Right? You know, it's not as clear-cut as that, but fair play to him, and fair play to Squirrel in particular.
Oh, yeah.
That experience, I believe, was the difference maker, and the fact that they got 3 clean sheets in a row, this is as good as we've actually seen them, so good on them for saving their best performance for last.
And Raftoang as well, we've got to pick him up again, playing on console, coming on through Supersonic Legend, which is super difficult in Asia to get, because basically you've got to go play on either OCE or US West servers to be able to get the population that are of that rank to then, you know, level up. So, I mean, fair credit to Best Defense Asia. I don't think they deserve the Best Defense, but they definitely deserve their spot to the regional finals.
And it means that our second regional lineup is now complete. Indonesia to be represented by Broccoli and Best Defenders Asia. Australia to be represented by Space One. And New Zealand to be represented by the ultimate epic, awesome New Zealand team. But of course, there are still 2 more regional lineups to complete. Later on today, of course, we have Germany and Chile with all of their close qualifier actions. Of course, all of your favorites, Jar of Jams, Stacks, you've got Leaf and Hunted, and you've got F-Dot and Supersonic, and you've got Cole and Stumpy. Of course, Cole, a second appearance for today, given that he, you know, saved that amazing goal earlier. So many great people. And so many great people here on this broadcast as well. It has been a pleasure to cover the close qualifiers, of course, Craftman and Tylacto for the majority of the week. A fantastic commentary duo. Love listening to them. Love listening to the thoughts of the wonderful Digital Bacon. I hope you've liked listening to me. My name has been IRLeague. And until next time, I'll see you a little bit later.
なで